gonna be awkward. I've never done this with someone else before.
I'll cover my ears if you want me to.
No, that would make it worse. It'd be a hilarious intro if you're just like this, but no. Anyway,
It's gonna be a hilarious intro anyway.
Yeah, it will be. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the VariantPictures Podcast, episode 2. And I'm joined today with a very, very special guest, Insomniac's brand new Peter Parker face himself, BUCKEYE. What's up?
Hi.
Great. Well,
how's it going?
Keep the legacy.
My name's Sean, and I don't know if, I gotta keep the legacy for sure. I was once the Cookie King, now I'm the BUCKEYE, and I'm here. Thank you for having me on your podcast, man. I'm really excited.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining me. It's great.
No problem.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hungry.
So, today, I thought it'd be fun to talk about the fan film community at large, and our experiences personally within that.
Sure.
So I guess the first point I think that'd be good to talk about is sort of just generally like our journey, if you want to call it that, from how we got into it, what inspired us to get interested, and how we started and how that developed from there. As you're the guest, I'll let you go first. How about that?
Sure, I'm okay with that. So, how I started, let's see.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I had been doing, before I knew about the fan film, there was a whole community and stuff. I might have mentioned this in other videos before, but I'll say it again. Me and my two oldest friends, Sam and Peter, who still actually work with me on projects today, we did just a bunch of Spider-Man home movies, with our little Super 8 camera. That was my parents and stuff. And we just made a ton of not just Spider-Man movies, but I don't even know, Nerf videos, and we made a Batman movie at one point. It was crazy, but I think I still have the Spider-Man movie. But anyway, we just made tons of that kind of stuff when we were kids, and once I eventually discovered, there was a whole kind of fan film community and just a bunch of kids trying to make films, and that whole community was blossoming, I found they had a place to put my Spider-Man movies and just any of my films in general. And it wasn't until 2016, that was around when I started consistently uploading and taking films seriously, and that was when I first started to make a responsibility. Yeah, that's kind of how I started.
Yeah. So, so you started on YouTube in 2016.
I've had multiple YouTube channels. What? Sorry.
Oh, well, I think
was about to answer your question
because I was gonna be sort of the question I was gonna ask was I assume that you might have had YouTube channels before then.
I did. I had a lot. We had I had 20 channels probably at one point. Well, maybe not 20, but several, I guess. The whole BUCKEYE account actually wasn't even supposed to be my main channel because I had it set up, dude. I was originally gonna have a main channel, which it's still up there. There's only 3 videos left on it because I deleted all the other ones. It's called Cookie Monster 103 or some bullshit like that.
Yeah,
and that was supposed to be the main channel. And, yeah, right. And then my vlog channel was Cookie King. Yeah. I made all these when I was probably 12 or 13. Cookie King, and that was a vlog or personal account and stuff. And then there was another channel that I made called Cookie Monster Movies, which is the current channel that I still had, and I actually made on 420 of 2014. And that was that was the one that, I mean, my movies were the only thing that kind of took off, so I just continuously posted on this channel instead of any of the other ones, and I forgot the passwords to the other ones. But this is the only one that kind of matters now, the only one that I post on and stuff. But yeah, I've probably had maybe 4 or 5 other channels besides this one and stuff.
It's funny you mention that because I mean, I guess I'll get to it, but it's not a detail I thought I'd add, but you reminded me of one thing, is that when we created VariantPictures at the time, Movie Rampage, which was a great name too, but
wait, you had a thing called Movie Rants?
No, Movie Rampage.
I thought you said Movie Rants, because that was the same name that I had for my buddy Peter's movie reviews.
You stole it.
No.
But that was the name of VariantPictures before that. It was Movie Rampage.
I do remember seeing that on your channel, a name or something before.
I mean, at first it was Movie Rampage 1, and then it became Studios. the reason it was
and then
one,
it became 2, and then it became 3, and then 4, and then
it just went from there.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Like, the reason it was 1 is because at the time, the reason they did this was because of BuzzFeed. That really dates that decision, but because like BuzzFeed, they have like, I don't know if they still do now or whatever, but like, they had like a thing. It was like, I don't know if it was through like colors or what that thing was. It was like there's BuzzFeed like red and BuzzFeed blue or something.
I've
like
never.
that.
I don't use BuzzFeed, so but yeah, I don't know.
Well, I don't either. I
Interesting, though.
barely even watched them at the time. This was before they went nuts, but like back
Yeah.
when they were respected, and then
Right.
like, but basically they had like sort of various for different types of content.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I was thinking, VariantPictures 1 is going to be movies, the VariantPictures 2. And
We
it's
had the
crazy
same
that
mindset.
that we
Yeah.
both had this like very strangely, almost not professional because we weren't, but like
Yeah.
we looked at it as if it was that, as if it was more serious than it was.
Right.
I was just
yeah,
like,
a
we'll
little
have
bit,
for
a little
different
bit.
things. And,
Exactly.
And none of it panned out.
Right. I did that because like a lot of the YouTubers I had watched just like to break their content up into different
That's
channels,
true, yeah.
and I figured like some people would like. I think I got it from Smosh. You ever watch Smosh?
Oh yeah, who didn't?
I used to watch Smosh. Yeah, exactly. But like I got the inspiration for that idea because they had their main channel and then Smosh Games, which is their gaming channel. So I figured, yo, what if I just had every single segment that I want to do on a different channel? But now I don't like to do that anymore because I feel like it confuses the fuck out of people, and I don't want them to have like 20 different channels to keep track of and stuff. I just like have organized playlists for different types of videos that I make.
I mean, like now the mentality and also just algorithms and whatever, things have changed a lot since then.
That's
like,
true.
But it's like that was the mentality back then because that's how YouTube worked back then. But now
Yeah.
it works very differently.
It does.
But anyway.
It's true. For better or
Yeah.
for worse.
Yeah. But anyway, as for me, in terms of how I started, is that like, so similar to you, and I think similar to most people that upload movies on YouTube, I think it might be a generational thing too, that like the generation like following ours, like their home movies are basically immediately going online because like the access they have is like immediate. And I think like, I don't know like about you, but I feel like, and this might just be like my family or whatever, but like I had VHS tapes as a kid, even though like I'm the generation of like DVD. So it's like, you know,
True.
Every generation kind of has like those people that are like in between generations, just the beginning or at the end of one.
A couple VHS players I remember, like Scooby-Doo and Spider-Man the Animated Series are the only ones that I can remember.
And so like I basically only got proper access to the internet when I was like 11, which is still pretty young still, but nowadays it's like much younger than that. Like you know, like you're a toddler, you've already got an iPad, you know, it's like
exactly.
So it's like things have changed even since my day. But like so
we're talking like we're so old, man.
I know.
But we're not.
Yeah, we're not.
Man.
We're not.
It feels
but
like it sometimes, though. Especially that I'm about to turn 20. I want to die.
Oh, gosh. I mean, whenever you see, like, how technology and how youth and technology has changed in only the few years we've been around, it makes you feel old. Because it's, like, things change at, like, an exponential rate. So it's, like, insane.
A little bit.
But
then again, my memory is terrible, so I don't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning, so I don't really remember too much about what I did with the technology as a kid. But I get what you're saying, though, for sure.
Yeah. But then, what did
I eat for breakfast this morning? Sorry.
Cookies, probably. But when I was a kid...
I would not be surprised.
Well, cookies and milk, I guess that is a breakfast thing, isn't it?
True.
But if you're Santa Claus, I suppose.
If you're not lactose intolerant like me.
But
I'll stop cutting you off, though, my bad.
That's so cool. It's like, anyway, but so like similarly, I did like home video stuff, like home movies, and I did that like since I was like 6. Basically, I started making home movies at that age, and then continued on since then. I never did Spider-Man stuff. I always like attempted it like slightly, like I would test it out, but like it never really worked because like, you know, like why would it? Like I was like 8, like how was I gonna make that work? Exactly. I did eventually do one, and if I find it, it'd be a miracle. But like I did make one, and like my friend played Spider-Man in that. It was like a zombie apocalypse related thing. It's a whole weird
interesting
situation. Yeah. But we did that. But anyway, the point is that was like a prototype, essentially attempt.
Right.
But we did that, but what I did the most is actually like more spy stuff. So I did like James Bond related things. That's the thing I did the most.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did a bunch of that. And then eventually, so those were all with like camcorders and like really, you know, rudimentary technology.
Oh yeah.
Windows Movie Maker was like king.
Oh no, I didn't even edit on a computer because I didn't have a computer that was older, that was, you know, younger than 20 years old at the time. We used for the Super 8 camera one, that was just, there's no editing there. We couldn't. Yeah. The other ones, it was Sam's iPod Touch that we filmed it and edited it on. You know, you ever like, it's just like those those basic video maker apps or whatever. I don't remember what it was called. It was called like Video Effects. Yeah, I used iMovie. That was later. That was responsibility era, actually. But like Video Effects, if you've ever heard of that. That was like an editor that I used.
Like, I don't think I got iMovie till like way later. And by the time I got it, I was so efficient with Windows Movie Maker that like, because
as
like
efficient
Windows,
as it can be.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny because like I can't say the same for like Final Cut, which is what I use right now. But
why are we
like,
the same person, dude? We have like the same upbringing. We both use Final Cut.
Yeah, and we're both Peter Parker in various things.
Right?
So like, I mean, it all comes together. This was meant to be.
Facts. We're meant to be together.
Sure.
You're blushing over there, I see. I'm
so nervous. I am very red. I'm just kind of like, I've never done a podcast with a guest before, so I'm just kind of like, oh God, what do I do?
No worries.
Yeah. So like, anyway, but like, with those really rudimentary like editing softwares,
right?
Because they're so limited, you find all the tricks you can do to accomplish things that the app or software will not let you do normally. You know what I mean? It's a bit complicated. But it's like with like Windows Movie Maker, it's like, okay, I can't do this normally, but if I like export the file and re-import it and then do this, then I can do that. It's that kind of thing.
Maybe,
and like, iMovie had a similar problem. Like iMovie, way better than Windows Movie Maker, but still had a lot of limitations. One of the main ones is that in iMovie, you can only have 2 layers of video, like stacked on top of each other.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
You can have like the main one and then something on top. So it's like if it's like green screen or like whatever. So to do shots that had more than 2 layers of green screen, you had to plan ahead in terms of what the layers were and how the thing was going to move, export it, re-import it, but then you can't change that.
Oh, that would suck. I didn't even use iMovie on my computer, though, either, because I didn't have a Mac at the time. I used it on my phone.
Yeah, it's even
But yeah,
even better.
Oh, yeah. But I get you, though. I never actually knew that. I'm just so used to Final Cut Pro now, because literally I jumped from iMovie to Final Cut, and that's all I've been using.
That's a pretty big leap, that.
I know,
at least
right?
like iMovie to kind of bridge.
Yeah, Final Cut is kind of just like iMovie on steroids.
Pretty much.
That's kind of how I consider it a little bit.
That's actually the main criticism my editing teacher in uni has.
Really?
Like she has the same. She like introduced the 3 main editing software. She's like, this is like Avid. This is, you know, Premiere, and this is Final Cut. And these are the 3 ones that I use. And she was talking the praises of the first 2. And then when she gets to Final Cut, she's like, now Final Cut is absolute dog shit because they updated the app to be more like iMovie, and it sucks and it's bad and no one uses it.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And I was like, I mean, you're not wrong, but like, geez. So I'm probably gonna have to switch to Premiere just like for the sake of school. But
yeah, I'm in film classes right now for college, and I have no idea how to use Premiere. I just use iMovie and don't tell me. Or not iMovie, Final Cut. Sorry, Final Cut.
Yeah. That'd be the real shame. It's like, I just use iMovie. I don't tell anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I don't understand. It's too complicated. But
I use Windows Movie Maker. I can't make that leap.
Yeah, but the first 2 Spider-Man movies I did were edited in iMovie. It's like, that's what's like crazy when I look back on that. I'm like, I did that in fucking iMovie? Holy shit. It's like, that's insane to me. I'm like, how? What? So anyway, that's kind of crazy. But basically, like, what got me into it was, I mean, the same thing as most people. It's just you see the community and you see a bunch of things. Me specifically, there were a few inspirations, and I think the main one...
Oh, I forgot to mention mine too. Yeah, go ahead though.
I think my main inspirations, I mentioned it in the last video I uploaded, and that was like Spider-Man Halloween's Hell. That was not my main one, but it's one of the ones that got me into it.
I remember that one. That was where I got the idea. You know how my Goblin costume was basically the same exact thing?
Yeah, it is.
That's kind of, I literally got that costume idea from that.
At least Halloween's Hellwood, the mask is kind of like fun. Like,
Yeah.
no shame, but I'm just saying, like,
You can shame it all you want, man.
I'm just saying, man, the Halloween's Hellwood is really goofy, but it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I feel like because the one you had was like the first one you would find if you search like skull mask on like
Pretty
Amazon.
much.
It's
Pretty
like
much,
this is the
yeah.
first one you find.
Exactly. No, dude, I wanted to have a serious looking goblin, okay?
It wasn't gonna be goofy. It was a serious Spider-Man. He bleeds and he says "fuck." It's like, that's
Web
like
Spider-Man?
what?
Web of Spider-Man?
Yeah, pretty
Brendan
much. Shade, just like mic drop. But
Right.
yeah,
No, we make fun of each other all the time. It's okay.
yeah, nice. No, Monster of Manhattan looks pretty dope.
Dude,
So
it was
I'm pretty happy
it was so cool. It was
Yeah.
it was really fun.
If
It's
only
gonna
I
be a
didn't
great
live.
project.
If only I didn't live on the other side of the Atlantic.
Yeah,
Maybe I
true.
could have been in that.
Maybe.
I'd still be in like a green screen thing. I'd still do that. Like,
That'd
I
be
can
cool.
do that.
For
no
sure.
problem.
That would be cool.
Like as a news
But no,
reporter.
yeah. In all seriousness, no, fuck. In all seriousness, though, Brandon Mello is just a really cool guy. I mean, he's like a really good, creative, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I haven't had the chance to talk to him, but I'd like to do that because he seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Cut that part about me saying that was dumb as hell. But
He's,
okay,
he's such a genius. He's got this
back to
intellect.
his genius films.
Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, the point is, the main one that inspired me. So, like Halloween's Hell was one of them. I think Eclipse was also one. A Spider-Man Eclipse.
Yeah, you can tell the Spider-Man clips inspired me.
Yeah, I think you can tell with that one. Like, because
Yep.
our fan films are like very different. Like, I mean, our too, but I also mean the ones that I like that we made at VariantPictures. I mean, like those ones are very different to Eclipse. You wouldn't be able to tell that was really inspired, but like at least I don't think you could tell particularly because tonally they're quite different. But
Yeah.
it did inspire me to make them because I was like, that's dope. Like I was like,
Yeah,
that's
true.
cool, so I want to do it.
True.
But the main one that inspired me is Peter's Web.
Right. I have
Like,
not
that's-
seen all of it. I know like, everyone has seen it. I know that's the reaction I always get. I gotta watch
Blasphemy.
it. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I gotta get to
really,
it.
it's really good though, and I think
It is. From what I've seen
It's-
of it, it's very good. Charge phone.
It's just, and it's also just like the endeavor of it. It's like 6 chapters. It's like a whole thing.
One of
and
them's
it-
like an hour long too.
Yeah, and it
Which is
covers
crazy.
like Peter's like not his whole life, but it's like it covers like from when he starts being Spider-Man to like when he's
Yeah.
like much older, like he's
True.
like middle-aged or whatever. It's cool
Which is
stuff.
cool.
I like it.
Definitely. Yeah.
I like that whole thing. So that was the main one that inspired me. Was that one, and that was like 2011. So like,
Yeah.
geez.
Before there even was like a community and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's fascinating about that. It's like that was before there was a community. Like other people had done fan films. There was like the Green
Yeah.
Goblin's Last Stand and
Yeah.
those types of
that's
things.
it.
But that was
That was in the '90s too, wasn't it?
I think
Goblin's
so,
Last
yeah.
Stand.
That was before
Yeah.
like the internet even.
I know. Yeah, which is what makes
Crazy.
it pretty impressive. Yeah.
It's nuts.
That's cool.
I watched a documentary about that. Like the Green
I've
Goblin's Last
probably
Stand.
seen it at one point.
Yeah.
I don't remember though.
It's really cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Just
for
seeing
sure.
like how that stuff was made and whatever at the time. Crazy stuff.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the ingenuity. There was like, well, our camera can't record this stuff. It's like so. we
Yeah,
have to
that's
do
how I
this
feel
instead.
about when I watch like behind the scenes for like
Yeah.
the Star Wars original trilogy. You know.
Oh yeah, like there's so
little
much
bit.
ingenuity. I think
Yeah.
nowadays this is gonna sound sort of like modern movies are bad, but like
Yeah.
that's not the point. It's just that now there are very few movies where you're like, whoa, that's so innovative. It's just like, it's like,
True.
oh, they CGI'd it. I mean,
Yeah,
like, what else are you gonna do?
right.
I don't have a problem with CGI, but I think like it's just like
Overused,
It's-
maybe.
a little bit sometimes. I think there are occasions where I'm like, you didn't need to do that. Like this, that was unnecessary.
I get
Um,
you.
But I think the problem is, it's not a problem, it's just an observation, is that it's expected that it's like that,
Yeah.
I think.
True.
So it's not as like, wow, how did they come up with that? It's just
Yeah.
like,
Good point. Yeah, not
so
a bad
anyway,
point.
yeah. But I'm sure some other thing will come along and like, you know. I think the closest
Change
thing we
the
got
game.
was like, yeah, the closest thing we got to like a revolution or whatever was when they started resurrecting like old actors for stuff.
Yeah, that's
but then
true.
they stopped doing it because like ethical reasons and legal ones too. But,
And it just looks like shit every time.
yeah, I mean, it would have gotten better with time. Like deep fakes are like crazy good.
I
now.
mean, yeah, I'm sure they're still gonna because like they did just do it recently last year. They did it with Carrie Fisher.
That's true, yeah. Well, no, because that was like just old footage that they like.
Was it?
Yeah.
No,
well,
it was old. It was apparently. Old audio. It was from what I heard. It was old like audio, and then they used. But they did like because I could tell when I saw it, it was like either a deep fake or like a CG resurrection. Something.
I mean, like
we're way off topic though.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, anyway, like stuff like that, I think. But anyway, it's like. So, like, looking at those documentaries and you're like, wow, like, that's how they put it together, crazy stuff.
True.
I mean, a behind-the-scenes documentary of Spider-Man 2 is what got me into making movies in the first place.
Was it really? Not even the movie itself, but a behind-the-scenes documentary?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, cool. I liked the movie. I loved the movie, and I still do. Yeah. But, like, the reason the documentary got me into it is because I was, like, 2004? I definitely didn't watch it then. I was 2 years old. But
exactly, yeah.
But, like, a few years later, like, this was before I started making movies, so it would have been, like, I don't know, 2008, probably, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
So, like, because back then, you don't have enough intelligence or cognitive ability to understand that a film is something that people came together and made and, like, shot for days on end and edited and whatever, and that's the outcome. You just see a movie as a thing that exists. You don't understand that, like, it was made to be like that. True. You just see like, oh, it exists. That's a movie. It's there. And so that behind the scenes documentary was the first time that I was like, wait, what? That's how you make a movie. It's like people came together and like shot this and like you could. I was watching the wire work stuff they did on that.
Yeah.
Like things like that. I was like, wow, they did that. I was like, so that's what got me into it. So I was like, people made a movie. You can make a movie. It's not just a thing that exists. So that's what got me into it.
Oh, that's cool. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's a fun story. But basically, it got to like 2014 is when we started, like when I started. I'm gonna say we, but it's like just as a group of friends that we did it.
Right.
But
yeah,
like,
I get you. You were in the actual like dawn of it, kind of. The blossom.
I get. I mean, I felt like it sometimes. I think it started slightly before then, but 2014 was like the year that it just blew up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I'd argue that was just like when it happened, and I think from 2014 to 2016, I would argue is not necessarily from a quality perspective, but from just like an activity perspective, that was like definitely the golden age, I think.
I'd say so, yeah.
There was just so much content, a ludicrous amount of content, so much was happening.
2017 and 18, there was nothing. But it's come back, I think, a bit recently.
There's
so many cool projects. Like
I think 2020 kind of kicked all the momentum the community had in the nuts, but I think 2021 is looking like it's going to be a bit of a resurgence. Like I'm seeing a ton of projects. I think because
everyone's just working on the projects this year. Once 2021 comes around, I think that's going to
like everyone just adapted to quarantine and everything. I was like, okay, well, how can I make a film in this context? And so 2021's coming in like, all right, here we go.
I've just done it by breaking all the rules of quarantine.
Basically, it's step one. But point is like, that was like, I think the big explosion of it was like crazy. And I think it's largely like, I would credit that. I mean, there's always multiple factors. I think the main one I would say is that The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think makes sense. Like that came out and I would argue that.
Which is weird.
But I think that inspired, and I wondered, like, okay, well, it's obvious that every time a Spider-Man movie comes out, it's going to generate some like traction in the community.
Yeah,
but why didn't Homecoming? It did have some traction. It did, but not nearly as much. It was really like slight.
I don't think that it like boosted the amount of people making them. I think it like influenced how the story was going to be and how their Spider-Man portrayal was. So after 2017, 2016, it was all the Homecoming suits and the the kind of the attitude like, I want to be an Avenger and stuff like that.
Tony Stark.
Yeah, right. Even though
it's like Tony was suddenly in everything or referenced or something.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but I think, if I was to give a reason, and honestly, like I don't know shit. This is just my like general thought, is because like why did Amazing Spider-Man 2 do it as much as it did and Homecoming not as much? Even though by that point the community was
been there, done that.
I think
maybe
I would say the main reason, if I was to give one, is that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a fucking riot. Whatever you say about the quality of the film, it's just a blast from beginning to end. Like it's true. Like it's got issues, definitely.
It's got Philip Phillips. That's the highlight.
That's peak. But it's an absolute blast to watch. It's just like crack cocaine Spider-Man from beginning to end. It is insane. It's like so thoroughly entertaining from start to end. And like the action is nuts. Like,
true.
Like
I mean, for kids, it's definitely good. I just watch it, I get pissed off. But for kids, I think that works, you know?
Yeah. I've learned to forgive and forget, like, that film a little bit. I'm like, yeah, it's got issues, but it's not the worst. I mean, like, if you sort of, like, accept some of the more cynical aspects of the film, you can really appreciate the actual, like, passion that's in there, like, deep inside. You got to look for it. But it is
Mark Webb. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's still knocked out of the park, and like just the energy of the film is just like unmatched, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that is the reason, because that film was such a blast and such a like thoroughly entertaining thing that I think a lot of people came out of that and were like, man, I want to do that. That was insane. I got to make a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and that's why it was like shot for shot recreations that came out afterwards, I think.
True. And I think it's generally the energy of the film really got people pumped, and therefore a lot of people wanted to make fan films of it. Whereas Homecoming is like basically the exact opposite. Is like it's very low key. The action is not particularly like high bar. It's not bad, but it's just kind of like it works.
I dig Far From Home's action a lot. I definitely dig Far From Home's action.
It's definitely a step up, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like it does divulge a little bit sometimes in the end. Like towards the end of the film, and like just sensory overload of like, we're gonna make things explode everywhere, so that dude. It's like I love that Mysterio is the villain. I think that's rad, and I love the way they interpret the character with like the mocap suit and everything. I love all that, but the fact that the final action scene is Spider-Man versus a bunch of drones is kind of lame. I think just like with all the potential that Mysterio has, I think like more could have been done than drones. I think.
Yeah.
But the scene is well done.
Point.
Certainly, it's very well put together. But I think it's just like, you got Mysterio and army of drones is your best shot. Like
that's why I love the whole illusion scene so much. It's because it was Mysterio. It's
definitely the standout scene of the film. I think most people would agree on that. Yeah. But like, I will or like forever be upset with Far From Home on one aspect. Like only one aspect really. Like the rest of it is fairly like there's nothing I don't have a big problem with any of the rest of it. But there's just one thing, is that like I always thought that Paris, and specifically the Eiffel Tower, and I'm very biased, I know, but I always thought the Eiffel Tower would make an absolute badass Spider-Man sequence, because that's a super tall tower in the middle of nothing else that's nearly as tall. And it's like, it's got like metal bars and everything that Spider-Man could swing through and shit. And that'd be like absolutely perfect in my eyes. That'd be the perfect place to do an action scene. And instead they go to Prague, and it's like, no offense to Prague, but all they do there is go to a like carousel, which is like, that could have been literally anywhere. Right. And it's like, and the final action sequence in London is cool. Like the bridge scene is very nice. It's a great setting, but I'm like, it's like 2 foot off the water. It's like, it's not particularly like, you know.
Right.
Know,
yeah,
to me,
a little bit of a missed opportunity there for sure.
And so and the fact that in the illusion sequence, they literally go to the Eiffel Tower just to not go there in the movie itself. I was like, you're trolling. Like this has got to be like a prank. I was like,
right.
You know. I mean, I knew because of the marketing that they weren't going to Paris. Otherwise, there would have been a poster of some kind. But like, you know, but I know I'll always be disappointed that they didn't do that. So anyway, but
that's funny.
But I think the point we're getting at, we got a bit off topic, but the point is that Homecoming, because it was like the action and generally the vibe wasn't very like action packed and heavy. It was much more like down to earth, quite literally. I think that didn't generate the same excitement that Amazing Spider-Man 2 did. In sort of that sense. Yeah. That's my theory.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And it's funny because I think 2018, towards the end of that and going into 2019, I think it kind of climbed up a little bit. I don't know about you.
I think
2019...
What came out in that time? I don't even remember.
Yeah. Well...
Amazing movie Retribution came out.
Amazing film. But I think I felt a bit of an increase during 2019, and if I was to say why, it's probably Spider-Verse and Spider-Man PS4.
Yeah, that's true.
Both of those came out in very rapid succession, like 2 months apart. And like,
was it really? I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was like, I think it was October or September. It was amazing. It was Spider-Man PS4, and Spider-Verse was December of 2018.
Yeah, that's true.
So both of those things came out, and both of those were like incredible, and like everyone's like, these are the best, whatever.
That was a good year for Spider-Man in general.
Definitely, 2018 was a solid year. I think that honestly boosted a lot of people, and you saw a lot of Miles Morales content in terms of fan films being created.
Yeah, true. My boy Joshua.
I saw a surprisingly few amount of them actually materialize, but I certainly saw a few trailers, like for stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't end up seeing a lot of actual finished fan films that were Miles centric, but I certainly saw a lot of trailers and things. So at least people were inspired in many ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like those.
When did Final Day come out? The Joshua Reels one, the Final Day. When did that come out? I wonder if that was around that time.
Yeah, I think it probably was. I don't know.
Because that one was really good. That one got.
Yeah, it was.
That one was popular too.
That one did a lot of views.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did the Marvel Knights Spider-Man thing come out?
I think that was 2017. I think.
Yeah. Because there was like the original like teaser or whatever, like sort of like
a long time ago. The fight scene.
Yeah, like that sort of like teaser that sort of came out, and then like a while later they did the actual series, which
it started in 2016 actually. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then it ended in it was all 2016 actually. I could have sworn it was like 17. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But it's like that sort of teaser sort of fight scene thing came out, and like it got like millions of views. That one did like really, really well.
Yeah, I think that was the start of everybody using.
Everybody did that.
The hoodie.
Like it was the hoodie, the mask, the thing. I was like, oh gosh, like the amount of films that were like.
I actually really dig I don't like to toot my own wiener on my films and stuff. But I really enjoy. Exactly, yeah, no. I love the hoodie suit that I use. I don't know why. I just think that the hoodie was a cool.
No, I think like
the one that I use was kind of cool.
I think like yours is distinct enough that I don't think someone could be like, that's obviously copying that.
Yeah.
I think like it's just like, well, it's like, well, it's got a hoodie, but like it's other than that, like the actual hoodie itself is like got a pattern and everything. Like it's.
Right. I wish it still fit. That's, I think, comfortable.
Yeah. But yeah, like there was stuff like that. I think it's distinct enough. I think there'd be more concern that it's a ripoff of Eclipse than it is a ripoff of
a ripoff of a couple things.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most like obvious one, because like the presentation is just like Spider-Man's strung up to a thing and he calls the guy a name and then beats him up in a dark place.
And then does the same little motion.
Yeah, the whoosh.
Yeah,
like the same thing.
Oh my god. The one thing I'll give Retribution is that it was mostly original. Doesn't mean it had good ideas, but it had original ideas.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's definitely true. I think like I remember the lead up to that. That was pretty interesting.
I mean, I remember the lead up of that from my perspective, but I have no idea. Same thing with my current movies. I don't know what guy see it from the comments, but I don't know what the feelings of people are for the lead up of it and stuff, I guess.
I mean, I could tell you when the lead up to Retribution was happening, I was sort of looking at that, and I'd seen like Responsibility, and I was like, all right. I was like, this is fine enough. I'm not like offended by it. Like this is decent.
And
like
this
is. And then I was like, so Retribution was coming out, and I was like, all right, this looks like a bit of a step up. And I think the thing that I noticed that I was like genuinely like, dang, if only I could do that, was I think most people, it was the point that they fixated on. I saw a lot of people talking about this, was like, there's like one shot in the trailer where like Spider-Man's eyes like do the thing.
Yeah, dude.
And like
I haven't
everyone
seen
was
many
just
people
like,
do that. I know. I hadn't seen many people do that at the time.
Even though like
that was in
your film, it's like it doesn't particularly look like a lens. It just looks like it's like kind of blurry a little bit. So
it's like a shape mask. that
exactly.
that they used. It wasn't a great effect.
But I think better than most people had tried.
Yeah.
Even.
Right. Well, that's because I didn't do the effect. That effect. I outsourced that to my buddy Cypher Films. And I think Novus Pictures is what he was called at the time. Also, there's two different people who did effects for that. But then I learned how to kind of do effects.
Then you learned how to actually do stuff properly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think like one of the things that I always tried to do with my movies was to, as much as I could, understand the limitations of what I had. And because I still kind of don't. You know, I think a lot of people I've seen are crippled by that in some ways, where it's like, oh, like I could never do something, so I'm not even gonna try. I think it's
I thought you meant like doing too much when you don't have that much, because that's what I do. Is that I do too much when I don't. But then again, like, that's just me being ambitious.
I mean, there's two sides to it. There's people that like don't try when they could. And like, so their fan films, or generally projects, doesn't have to be a fan film, but their projects end up being kind of like they could do more, and it's like you could feel like they are limiting themselves when they don't. That was
responsibility, because I was scared to do. I didn't want to do a full fight scene. There's not really a full fight scene in that movie.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And then there's the opposite, where it's like people try too much for what they can do. So
I think
really,
responsibility and retribution are both sides of the coin right there.
So. If you want examples, you watching at home, if you want examples of both of the things I just named, just watch the two fan films.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. And I think I learned a lot, and I think most people do, on their first attempt. And like, because with Dawn of a Hero, I learned a lot on that. Because like the main thing I learned is, because I made a lot of mistakes looking back on that, and it's a large part of why I'm remaking it, is because I looked at that, and I was like there was supposed to be a few scenes that actually explained for like where Carnage comes from, right? In the movie, he comes out of literally nowhere for no reason, and it's not explained at all, pretty much. Yeah. But there was actually you could hardly call it a script. It was a Google Doc, but like, you know, in the sort of layout, there were like two scenes that explained a little bit where he came from. There's one scene where it's like you see Carnage like show up, and then another scene where it's like there's the scene that was inspired by the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game, where it's like where like Oscorp is like experimenting on like Cletus or whatever.
Oh,
and that gives him Carnage.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be a scene like that, and then there was supposed to be a scene where Cletus as Carnage like wrecks like a cafe and like murders a bunch of people, right? Establishing.
How do that? You're 11-year-old.
Exactly. But the point of the scene is like to show how crazy this man is and why Peter needs to stop him.
Right.
And like, so Peter like, and there's a deleted scene which is like the aftermath of that, where like on the radio they're talking about like Carnage killed a bunch of people, somebody help. And for some reason I deleted that from the film.
Really?
The reason is honestly a super lame reason, but it's because I couldn't get anyone to do the voice acting for the radio.
What?
For the people on the radio. So really? I was just like, well, screw it. I guess I just won't put it in the movie, even though it's like a vital piece of information.
Right. I mean, but hey, like, you're a kid at the time, so it's not really...
Yeah, exactly. But from that, I learned a bit of my limitations. And then for some reason in the next one, I decided I'd start the film with Spider-Man stopping a space shuttle that was crashing to Earth. I don't know where that... Like, I know why I did that. It's because in the Spider-Man animated series, like the 90s one, there's a bit where the symbiote is on a spaceship and it's like crashing down. It crashes on... I don't know if it's the Brooklyn Bridge, but it's like one bridge. And I was like, what if that...
Yeah, wasn't that when the symbiote came out?
That was like the introduction of the symbiote in that series.
In that series, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, what if that, but also Spider-Man's on it? And it's like, I look on that now, I'm like, I was really dumb to try that, but also the scene kind of works. It's very rough, visual effects-wise, right, but it kind of comes together.
No, I remember always, I watched your movies only a few times, but I would just fucking watch your trailers over and over again, just because I was impressed with the VFX, I think, at the time, as a kid.
Thank you, I appreciate it. 11-year-old me, or 12-year-old me was very appreciative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's, like, you know, the trailers were always fun. I love putting together trailers. It's kind of exhausting, but I still like doing it.
Yeah, I get that.
It's just you go through the same stuff over and over again, and by the end of it, you hate like the song you picked, which you loved at the beginning, and then you're like, oh fucking hell, this song is like.
Right.
Anyway, but it's a fun process. I love doing that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool.
Like,
definitely.
Yeah.
But you can tell I love doing trailers because I just fucking made like 8 trailers for Responsibility and like 5 for Retribution. There's 2 for this movie that there's only gonna be. There's the teaser and then the official, and that's it. And the movie's coming out. And the official's gonna be like basically like, yo, the movie's coming out in 3 weeks. Get hyped. So it's not really like.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a like what was that film that came out that did that? That was like, the Cloverfield Paradox, where like they released the first trailer and the film came out like that day on Netflix.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean it's kind of different with like a streaming.
Well, obviously, yeah, it's different, but it's like, like not very much teasing, and it's just like, bam, here it is, you know. Right. It's a different strategy, certainly. I mean, it's like
for sure. Well, I'm doing because I don't want to show so much footage, and because like with all the trailers' Responsibility, I had comments of them predicting the plot of the movie, and it was right because everything was in the trailer. There wasn't a single scene from Responsibility that wasn't in one of the trailers.
Oh god, yeah.
Which is very different story here.
Yeah, certainly.
Because this movie's gonna be around like 55 minutes probably, I think. So that's interesting.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how long it actually is. It's probably gonna be the Retribution length or around the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Retribution. I remember I was impressed. Whether I was right to be so, I don't know. But I was impressed by like the swinging stuff that you had some of that in there. Like I was like, I mean, it was like more than like nothing really. It was sort of, hey, you know,
oh shit, the audio might be pretty bad because I angled my phone away from me because I forgot that I was doing that.
Yeah,
sorry, just want to let you know.
Too bad. Yeah, it's alright.
Bria, go ahead. Sorry, you're talking.
Yeah, I was just saying like Retribution, like the effects were like, I think not like stellar, but I think they were sort of like pretty good.
They were pretty cool.
I mean, they were above average.
The web like not the swinging, but the web effects were pretty cool. I should have had trackers effects done by someone else, since that wasn't me using Saber movie effects. But then I mean, the swinging scene was like a cool idea. It just shouldn't have been a full scene. It could look like a PS2 cutscene and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, most fan films don't have any, so I think it's sort of a point where it's like, well,
that's fair.
You know, it's at least something. The funny thing about those scenes is, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's cool. Like the funny thing is, I recognized the city like model. Like, really? I recognized that model. Like, I'd seen it before. Shit. Like, not in another fan film specifically, but just I'd seen it on the internet like before, like that model. That's so I was funny. Like, hey, that's the thing. Like, I recognized that. I was like, yeah, that's pretty dope. Yeah. Yeah, I never had access to like anything that I could do swinging stuff with. Not really. Anyway.
That was my friend, that was Cypher who did that.
Yeah.
He's really good with like CGI and stuff now.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I've seen a bunch of stuff. It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like most of the CGI or like swinging stuff is just taken from other things. Right. Like most of the time I asked permission for it. Like I actually asked permission and I got permission to use them. So that's at least one point. I don't know why I did that, yet I decided to use copyrighted music. I don't know exactly where my thought process on that was, but copyright-free music like 6 years ago is not what it is now. It's like it's crazy. It's only been like 6 years, but like I swear to God, like copyright-free music 6 years ago was, you'd be hard pressed to find anything good. Apart from like Kevin MacLeod, but like everyone used his stuff, so you couldn't use it because like it was too recognizable.
Right.
So like,
that's fair. That's fair.
But now there's like so much out there.
I got fucked over on copyrighted music for both things, because I used songs that were copyright free. They said they were, but they fucking weren't. And there was only one. All the other ones were fine, but then just the one fucked me over, even when it said that it was like in the clear.
Yeah, well,
gotta love stuff like that.
Sometimes you just get fucked over. That's just the life on YouTube, isn't it?
No, that's just the life for filmmaking, dude. I've learned that nothing ever goes right when you're trying to make a movie.
I mean,
which is ironic because we filmed the best scene ever and everything went best thing that I ever made, last week, and nothing went wrong. We had such good luck that day, but it was Friday the 13th.
Oh.
I find that ironic. I don't know. I'm still waiting for something to not work with that scene, and I'll blame it on, Friday the 13th.
Just like hard drive failure, just like some awful shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Just that one clip is gone forever. But everything else is fine.
Forever it's gone. So yeah, I guess what else? I was check the notes here.
Check the notes. Yeah, right.
Yeah, 'cause we've been talking for a while. Yeah. So like, I guess the other point, because we talked about how the community started, at least in terms of how we got into it and sort of that stuff. So like, I guess the question that we had here was, where do like you think it's gonna go? Like, how do you think in the next coming years, like how that's gonna evolve?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that there's still a lot of like a decent amount of the same people, which is pretty cool. I just think that now that we're gonna see a huge like quality boost because all these kids are now getting older, and some of them like me and you and stuff, and so some of my other buddies and stuff, other people in the FFC are like going to school to become filmmakers, and they're actually like learning how to properly make movies. So I think we're going to see a lot of cool stuff coming out in the future for sure. And we're already kind of seeing that. Like the trailers and stuff for stuff that's coming out, like Lonely Spider, like Film Forum, all their stuff that's coming out, like, looks really cool and stuff. And they've been around for a while and that's stuff. True, so I just think everyone's kind of evolving. And I think the FFC is like, everyone there is, just kind of, like I said, evolving and stuff.
That's true. I think there's a generational thing. I think a lot of us are not necessarily all exactly the same age, but we're all in kind of the same bracket.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
We did films at around the same time.
Give or take within 5 years, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, we're all like getting older now, and it's funny because those that have either given up or moved on have, and those that have kind of, how would you say it's like
stuck around?
I guess, but it's like kind of persevered in some aspect. Have like their appreciation of it has strengthened through time.
Right.
I think like those people have stayed.
For sure.
And it's like, I think you can recognize the people that are still around.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like who's the oldest one that's still about. I guess technically Joey Lever is
Joey
like
and Six Side probably.
Yeah, Six Side. Although like I haven't checked up with them in a while, but like I don't think they've uploaded something in a while, at least not a Spider-Man thing. I know they're working on something, but
You don't know about Another World?
No, I was talking about Six Side.
Oh, yeah. They've been doing their...
Because I know they're
I thought you were talking about both. I thought you were talking about both of them. I was like, how the fuck have you not heard about Another World? What's wrong with you? Yeah, no, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. They've been working on like their like SoundCloud rap series, I guess. And there's like Spider-Man on the side, pretty much.
Yeah, the peak content.
Yeah, right.
But like,
it's definitely their best work, honestly. I've watched a few episodes, and it's definitely their best work and stuff. They seem really interested in it, and it's pretty funny too, from what I've seen.
Like, I don't know if you've like interacted with them like in recent years, but I remember the last interaction I've had with Six Side was back when they were Piggy Inc. I think. No, it wasn't Piggy Inc. What was it? Action Inc. Yeah, like I remember Action Inc. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, basically, they got all pissy because. Like, and I shit ye not, because the title of a film was Dawn of a Hero, and they thought it was too similar to their film called Dawn of Spider-Man, which is I
got mad at fucking Samuel Flatman. He was gonna name his thing Spider-Man Responsibility, and how old was I? 15-year-old ass was like, no, you can't do that.
The man actually changed it. Like,
yeah, I know.
Honestly, the title's actually better. Like, the title is actually way better. It's like With Great Power, whatever. That's actually a better title. It's like,
wow.
You bullied him into coming up with a better title. So I
mean,
right. Who really won?
Well, the dude's awesome though. I was just a angsty, edgy, preteen guy back then.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they got all pissy about Dawn, and like Dawn is already a cliche title as it is. Like, you're not really gonna get pissy because I used it in a different way as you did. It's like Dawn of a Hero and Dawn of Spider-Man. Yeah, it's similar, but it's like that's about as close as you can get, really. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's the less interaction I had with them. So it kind of
True.
soured
Less
it.
interaction I had with
yeah.
them was when I had them on the live stream. I think, for the FFC live, the charity stream, which was cool. That was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So they're working on like the 2 last ones, I think.
Yeah. From last time I checked, they haven't really had much updates about it recently, but I know they started shooting it like last year, beginning of last year, I think.
Yeah, they had like one update with 102 and then like nothing since. So maybe they're working on it, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
The guy who plays Spider-Man, I think, is good in those, though. I think...
oh, yeah, definitely. Mark's pretty cool. Cool. I've talked to him a few times. But yeah, he's interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, there's Joey Oliver as well. He was around 2014. It's like, I think there's him, and I don't know... I guess technically, like, Variant Pictures is still around. We were there in 2014, so technically...
True.
That makes us some of the older ones around, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's like, I think we're seeing a generational kind of situation going on.
Yeah.
And I think
definitely
2021 and 2022 are probably going to be good years. I mean, I've always thought that every single year, and it's never really happened, so I don't know.
Right, but now it's actually looking like it. I think
there's honestly a lot that's supposed to come out in 2021. That's
right,
for sure.
Exactly. Especially, I mean, Monsters of Manhattan's going to like shake up everything, I think.
Yeah. I've rarely seen something with that level of like, I guess, production value behind it.
Yeah.
Just like a proper crew and everything. I'm like, all right, good on him. Like,
True.
that's like properly put together.
Yeah.
I'm like, how deep are this man's pockets? I mean, that's like impressive stuff. It's pretty
True.
Good.
Yeah.
The Raimi suit is an interesting choice. It's very well done.
It is, yeah. He
because I read like a synopsis of some sort. I think it was on the Indiegogo or something, or Kickstarter.
Ah, okay.
Because it was like maybe I'm misremembering, but it was like it's set in an alternate version of the MCU. I think is what it said.
I don't know. I haven't read that.
Yeah, I read it.
I've never heard him say that before.
Well, I don't know, so maybe I'm completely off here. But I swear I read that in the thing is that it's an alternate MCU.
Could be.
Like, but the Raimi suit is just a coincidence. It's not like a thing, so I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah, but I would love to see a fan film that's like, what if Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was in the Avengers?
Yeah, but
like, what if they never rebooted?
It still is, right? It's still his own take, which is cool.
Oh yeah, no,
stuff.
I think
like it's very original from the footage I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that a lot of people are making like, there's like a Spider-Man 4, Amazing Spider-Man 3, all that stuff.
Yeah, Bryn, High Mountain Studios. That guy's really cool too. He's making. Yeah. I don't know when that's gonna come out, but he's
apparently it's next
on that
year
for a while. Yeah. He's been working on that for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I'm pretty excited to see that. Like, the suit looks rad. They got like a good VFX stuff.
Definitely.
So that's looking pretty good. I'm pretty excited for that. I mean, I'll hold judgment until I actually see like footage that's not like the suit or green screen, like because those things, it's like you're not really sure how that's really going to end up, really.
Mm-hmm.
But at the very least, those things are good, like the suit and the like all that stuff. It's the CG is looking pretty rad.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think like there's definitely a lot happening in 2021. So it's certainly very exciting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of stuff is going to bleed over into 2022. I think because like
we'll see. Maybe like
because I think COVID's going to delay a few things. It's like
especially right now. I know we're going into full lockdown for another month. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Where I'm at right now.
We're just like in the like second to last week of lockdown here. So like
really?
Second lockdown. Yeah. So
interesting.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of halted a lot of things.
Yeah. My state that I live in is like one of the higher ones, in America and stuff. So that's fun. Well,
I mean, like here it's Paris, so it's like in terms of places that are likely to have COVID, the capital city is probably it.
True.
So it's kind of rough.
Good point.
Here, but
good point. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Well, the reason I was bringing up like Spider-Man 4 and Amazing Spider-Man 3 and those fan films is like, I think that's really cool that people are doing that stuff. But I really love seeing like really unique takes on it, like stuff that's like feels very individual to like that creator and that version. And I don't think one's necessarily better than the other. It's just a subjective thing. I like seeing that stuff more because I'm like trying to stick to something that already exists is really cool, and seeing how people are able to reinterpret that. Yeah. But doing something that's really different and very individual, I think is like something I like seeing a lot more, just personally, because it's like
True.
it just shows a lot of creativity in terms of like how do you make your own version of this character that's so like ubiquitous. It's like kind of interesting. Like I don't know if you've heard of like the Spider-Man Every Hour. Have you heard of that?
A little bit. I think
it's like
I've heard of a little bit of that. I don't really know much about it though.
Like it's a Spider-Man film that's set in the 60s. It's like it's a period
I did
piece.
know that. Yeah, that's cool. Which is gonna
like
be
that's something I've always wanted to see. I'm like it's like that. It's something like I've never wanted to attempt because I'm like the logistics behind trying to do that is insane. But
true. It's like the Corridor Digital video, the Cake Day fan film.
Oh yeah, that was rad. Yeah.
That was the kind of period-ish piece type thing. It was like set in. It's like feels like a 60s type thing. For sure.
Also, it's Corridor, so they have like a very good effects team. They literally are an effects team.
That's
so
true.
It's like,
I think that's a good point.
like I knew when that came out, like I saw it as it came out, and I was like, oh, this is gonna blow up. Like, it's like it's a really big YouTube channel doing a really polished thing. Like it's going to blow up. I'm not like particularly worried about it.
I hope this distracts a bunch of people. My little blinking light. That little blinking light that I got going on every 2 seconds.
They're trying to figure out if it's like Morse code.
It's
It's
Morse code for saying retribution sucks.
Oh, sneaking that in there.
I know.
So I guess we'll just like
never said that once in my life.
Yeah. I mean, basically, ever since that film came out, that's all you've been saying. Basically, it's like
no, that's not true. But yeah,
it's like every other video.
Well, there's a story behind that actually. A little bit, kind of. Yeah. Well, so that was a little bit before I released that movie. It was right when I became friends with Brandon Mello, and he's like he's kind of hypercritical stuff, which is cool because like, it helps you. It helps me find like all this stuff that's kind of like that could be better in some of my like scenes or movies or whatever, and like is able to help me fix them. But it's also stressful sometimes. But basically, but it was good because what I wanted to do is we were in we hopped in a Skype call or something at one point, right when and we like watched it, or it was after he watched it or something. And I was like, so I just want to know, like, I just want to have, like, could you give me like a review? Could you tell me like some stuff that I did right, some stuff I did wrong? But basically, like, don't hold back. Just tell me like everything about it, all your feelings about it. And we did that. We went through like each scene and we've talked about it and stuff and like tried to like figure stuff out about it. And then I was just like thinking, just like, wow, this wasn't as good as I thought it was. And after that, I just kept like watching it and reflecting on it, and I just remembered my thought process for doing it and stuff, of like how lazy I was with it. Like I had so many people telling me, like, yo, you need to, you don't need to, but you should really like reshoot this scene or try this, because this is like, it didn't say not very good because they were nice about it, but like, because like the one scene where Sam's character Scarlet Spider is wearing like the old responsibility mask and he's got a Santa hat in his head, and then Shocker's in a whole different suit, and isn't
that like the beginning?
Yeah, it's like one of the first scenes, and it's like one of the. It's like it doesn't make any sense. It's so out of place. Everyone told me like, dude, you should reshoot that to make it more in line with it. Yeah, I'll get to it eventually, but then eventually when it got to closer to release time, I was like, I've been working on this movie for so long, I don't want to, like, I didn't see it necessary to do that. Like, I just wanted to get it out so badly because I'd been working on it for so long, which is weird. It's just weird how I work on something for so long, but then when I post it, it just feels rushed, even though I worked on it for like over a year. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, because how much time did you spend like in like pre-production?
Not as much as I should have, because it was a first or second draft. There were still scenes being added and cut out as it was like we were filming it like how Iron Man was filmed, if you know the story behind that. Yeah. But this time it didn't turn out good. It's like, I mean, we had like Sin Eater. I don't think Sin Eater was in it when we started filming it. In early 2016.
That was just like an idea that just kind of like came about.
Yeah, that and Eddie Brock, and Daredevil was actually going to be in it, but he wasn't going to be in it the way he was originally. Yeah. But that's why I love how we segued into talking about, because like there's going to be a point where we're talking about random shit, and then for some reason I start talking about Retribution, and then it like goes from there. That's kind of funny. But anyway,
I will say though, like the Eddie Brock stuff is like there's one bit in Eddie Brock's scene. It's my favorite scene from the movie, not because it's particularly good, but it cracks me up so much.
Which part? Is it the part where he attacks Peter and stuff, or is
it's the bit where like I think it's right after that.
You like the conversation scene? Oh,
there's a conversation. Oh my god, I'm cracking up just thinking about it. Eddie like goes away for like 5 seconds. He comes back.
It's like a whole telephone call happened in that process. That
and he comes back, and he's like, I'm sorry, I gotta go. And you just stand up, dramatic music, and it's like, what? I just got here. That thing kills me every time.
Me too. Oh shit, me too though. Honestly, me too.
I'm sorry, just the timing and the music.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Was there
it's like a vine.
I thought there was music in that scene.
I think there is. There's like a kind of choir thing going on.
I don't remember. It could be.
It legit feels like a vine. It's like leaves, it comes back. You gotta go. What? I just got
Honestly,
it legit kills me every time I watch it.
That's really funny.
I say every time I watch it, I don't watch it like regularly.
Religiously.
Yeah.
But
the few times I have watched it, and sometimes I would just go back just to watch that because it kills
I get it. Yeah, no, that movie's very memeable.
It's just what? I just got here.
I know.
It's like so funny.
My stupid performance from that that was pretty funny. But
oh god.
No,
Killed me.
I literally like with Retribution, I had a few years ago, I had a legit hatred towards it. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't even like thinking about it or talking about it or anything. But now it's not that I'm indifferent to it, but it's like sure, I think it's still pretty bad and stuff, obviously. But I still like I have not I guess I have a little bit of respect for it a little bit because it's like a stepping stone. It's like I learned a lot from it, and it was still fun to do. So I instead of thinking about the actual quality of the movie or whatever, I think about the fun times I had making it.
Yeah, no, I definitely like that's a sentiment I definitely agree with. Not so much on the like disliking my old stuff, like. I don't particularly dislike Dawn or Rise of a Hero. Like, obviously, there's problems with them.
Right. You meant when you're a kid, though. And that's how I should see it.
Yeah. It's like, I just kind of look at those and I'm like, yeah, they've got problems, but I made them when I was 11. And considering my age and, like, my lack of expertise, honestly, I'm like, you know what? Like, if some random kid did that, I'd be impressed. Like, good on you, like, for doing that. Yeah,
true.
So, like, I just look back on that and it's like, oh, it's kind of wholesome and nice.
Yeah,
so like I feel the same way you do about having some sort of respect for it.
Right.
It's like, you kind of respect the work that went into that, even if the end product isn't necessarily
exactly. And I think like I respect it for how much it's helped me in the future because it was like it taught me so many things. I do so many things differently. Like I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, but before I was literally a one-man show. I did everything myself, writing, directing. I was a star. Oh, yeah. I did all the editing by myself. I did everything, literally. I just have so much. I let myself have so much more help for this. I've had so many. This is not a first draft for Best of Enemies. Not even close. It's gone through about like 5 or 6 or fucking 10. Yeah. Honestly.
No, that's good. Yeah.
And I've had other people like revising it. I have an assistant director which is Eric, the guy who played Foggy Nelson in Retribution. Yeah. And just a bunch of people, like, scenes that I shoot, like the most recent fight scene, I sent it to a bunch of people, and, like, I just got notes on it, like, hey, how could it be improved? Like, what's anything I could do to make it the best that it can possibly be, and stuff. So I think that, hopefully, that all this work that I'm actually putting into this thing now, and from, building off all the stuff that I learned from my previous movies and, mistakes that I've made, or however you want to put it, I think that it's going to, result for something that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think.
Like,
go ahead. Sorry, I've been talking for 20 minutes.
That's right. Because, like, for me, I think I do have a tendency to almost spend, I think, too much time in, like, the pre-production phase.
Really?
That is a tendency I have where I
don't spend
enough so much time. I don't think. I think I would say it's probably better to spend more time than not enough.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely, like,
a situation.
But I think. Because basically my creative process is I just spend a couple of months just like reworking it in my head over and over. I'm writing like dozens and dozens and dozens of pages of notes.
Right, definitely.
I
get
do a
that
ton of that. I just do so many notes, and and basically what my creative process ends up being is like in the same way, the analogy I'd use is like, you know how it's like to collect gold or whatever, they would like use like a sift or whatever, and like sort of shake it, and the sand comes out, and then you're left with a piece of gold. That's kind of my creative process. Is I basically like rummage through ideas for months, and then eventually what's good sticks, what doesn't ends up leaving.
That's not a bad idea for sure. Definitely.
Because that way, like, you don't get absorbed with ideas that come like in the moment.
That's
like,
that's a problem that I have. Yeah, that's a problem that I have.
And that way, if it's a good idea and you can work it in a good way, you stick with that and it works.
Yeah. The Sin Eater was actually going to be in Best of Enemies originally, because I wanted to like really make like it's a Retribution remake, but he didn't have a place in the story, not at all.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes there are things like you really want to do, and you got to recognize like there's no way to do it right in the way I want to do it. So just like, let's not try and shove it in unnecessarily.
Right. Exactly. That's for sure. Yeah. That's for sure. I know it's kind of similar. I mean, honestly, one thing for COVID that I can give it for like helping the movie is that I was ready. I had a draft of the script ready to film in March. We had location scouted, and then that same weekend we found some cool locations. We're ready to film the next couple of days. That's when quarantine happens. It was in like March or whatever. Yeah. And stuff. But it's good because the script wasn't ready to be filmed yet. I thought it was, but it wasn't. So I actually, there was some stuff in there that has been cut out since then that really like it works, and I'm glad I didn't start filming it when I had it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's the same thing as well. Like with the remake of like Dawn, like that was gonna be something very different. Like back in like August when like I first announced it, it was gonna be something very different. And by the time like that quarantine happened and I started actually like rethinking the whole idea, like now it's a very different beast. It's still a remake, but like what I consider it is like it's more of a retelling, right? Well, I guess a retcon or whatever you want to do it as. It's like it will still be recognizably like a remake of that, but Dawn of a Hero is a 15-minute movie. Right. This is like
mine's actually
this is gonna be feature length. Like it's probably gonna end up being 2 hours based on the length of the script.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's just because like my writing style has changed so much.
That's true.
And like because it's like before it's like I wrote like zero dialogue.
Really?
Like if you watch those movies, they have like almost no dialogue.
Oh, really? And the dialogue I don't remember that.
Is like expedited. It's like there's like 3 lines to get to the point of the scene.
Okay, I didn't know that.
There's no character to any of the dialogue.
Right.
It's just like functional dialogue to get to the point. Yeah. And even then, it's not very well done.
Yeah.
And dialogue is definitely the thing I have the most difficulty with. But I think creatively, it's good to work on the things that you struggle with.
True.
And my recent scripts have more and more dialogue because I think dialogue is very important for character and all that. And so like they end up being way longer than they used to be. And if you look at like movies that are feature length, they're like action movies, the majority of the runtime is dialogue.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's the thing. It's like action scenes are relatively short next to like dialogue stuff.
Yeah.
So that ends up being that.
That's true.
I think it's interesting because something that was 15 minutes, it's gonna be recognizably that, but it's gonna be like a 2-hour long thing. It's
that's crazy.
Like
that's crazy. Yeah, I think we finally found a difference though in our stuff. Sorry, wait, were you gonna finish your point?
That's true. I was gonna finish my point, but
my bad. I'm sorry.
How dare you, Sean?
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I cut so many people off, because I have terrible memory. So if I think of something, I forget what I'm gonna say. But it's all good. True. You can go ahead though. This is your thing.
I think it's like because I look back on those films and I'm like, there are ideas there that I'm like, I like those ideas, and I wish I could showcase them now that I have like improved and be like, see, here's how I could have done it better back then. Yeah. And like I take the ideas I think still would work and doing them in a new way.
Right.
Just like properly doing them. And then also the advantage I've had now is that I know precisely what the beginning, middle, and end of my story is going to be.
Yeah, that's good.
Like of this in like the whole series I have in mind.
Oh yeah.
So like I know what the beginning, middle, and end of it is. That's
Right.
the advantage I've had. Is
This
I've been able
same
to
thing with
work
mine.
on that.
We pretty much have, because are you all good? Because I was gonna start going into a whole explanation.
Pretty much. I was just gonna say, like, now I've figured out what the beginning, middle, and end is,
Cool.
which makes it a lot of fun in terms of, like, since I know where this is gonna go, I can put in so many details early on. That,
Yeah.
like when the whole thing's gonna be complete.
Exactly.
You could oh yeah, look at that.
You could have a lot of like opportunities for foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause I fucking love foreshadowing and stuff.
It's great stuff, especially in like comic book stuff. Like there's so
True.
much obvious foreshadowing in that, but when
Yeah.
it's done well, it's like really good.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
what I want to avoid is like Game of Thrones.
True.
That's what I want to avoid. Is like we know where we're going,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do that, or like Star Wars sequel trilogies.
Exactly.
Example.
You're
Like we know where we're
you're
going.
segueing perfectly into what I'm
so-
about to say.
So hopefully the ending is satisfying.
True.
So
True.
see you
I
in
think
like
it would.
5
I have-
years when
yeah.
that happens.
For sure. In 5 years, goddamn. No, I got faith in you. I'm excited to see it.
Oh yeah, thanks.
It's gonna be cool. Yeah, man. No problem. But that's
So you were gonna say.
yeah, that's a difference, especially with because people are gonna see the idea that we have for going with these next couple movies and think that it's like the Star Wars sequel trilogy that's not gonna work out. I'm doing Best of Enemies and stuff. I'm directing that. My buddy Eric is directing and creating and writing the next movie, which is his it's his story, but it still falls in line with the other thing. And then I'm coming back for the next one. You could really look at that and see like,
Yeah, it does, like-
I'm J.J. Abrams, he's Ryan Johnson, and
Yeah.
stuff.
Like Peter just dies like at the end of the second one, and then it's just like you come back and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Yeah,
Oh, shit,
exactly.
what are we
Something
gonna
like
do?
that. Something like that. Like people would think that, hey, like it really seems like the same kind of business model or like the same kind of like
Yeah.
just
But
model.
you guys are on the
for-
same page.
We're on the same page though. That's the
Yeah.
difference is that we have it planned out. We have a story planned out for all the next. So like secondly, responsibility is still canon and stuff for the second, which is Best of Enemies. Third, which is I'm not gonna tell anyone the title right now, especially on air. I'll tell you the title. I'm off air,
Yeah,
but
that yeah.
for the next one, and then the fourth one, which is the fourth and final one, we have a general idea for how we want that story to go and how we want it to end. So it's like it's not like we're just doing these movies and stuff without what the next one's gonna be in mind and stuff. Like they all fall in line with each
Yeah.
other. It's all one story, just broken across different movies and stuff.
Yeah,
So I think that it'll be more like coherent, even though we're doing it a similar way that the sequel trilogy did it.
That's true. It's like,
stuff.
but it's like different creative voices and whatever.
Exactly. We want to have some variety. I don't
Yeah.
want it to just like seem like it's all like I want it to be feel like more like the MCU than the sequel Star Wars trilogy, pretty much. Because like
Yeah.
the Russos can do like their own thing and still have it like fall in line with the same universe as fucking like the Guardians or whatever, and it still works. And stuff, or
Yeah.
even Homecoming and Civil War, they fall in line with each other and it's different directors and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
At least they kind of
That's
do.
true.
It's a sort of a bad example, but
No, I mean I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So technically, you've got 3 different creative voices in this. You've got yours. You've got
who's the third?
like what was the name? What was the other guy?
Eric.
Eric. That's
There's
right.
so
you
many.
You got
It's so fucking funny how I have a character named Eric, but I have an actor named Eric. Peter Parker, a character.
Peter,
I got
actually.
Peter. It's
yeah.
funny, but yeah, go
All
ahead.
you need is Sean, and then
Exactly,
the
right?
trifecta's complete.
Yep.
But so you've got you've got Eric, and then you've got you from like 4 years ago.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But we're actually doing. I'm not gonna really spoil it, obviously, or anything. But there's some stuff that actually ties it into responsibility really fucking well.
Yeah.
I've actually been considering
Very
doing a
cool.
responsibility remaster, which we'll see
Yeah.
if that ever happens.
I think that could be good. Yeah.
Just so it's not such a weird. It's like
Yeah.
it picks up after. It's supposed to be a year after responsibility
like-
happens, but it's been
Like
4.
puberty hit real quick.
But it's been 4 years since then,
Yeah.
and Sam looks so different. Full beard.
Yeah.
He's
he's
like
got
a
a
manly
beard as
voice.
well.
He's as tall as me
Crazy.
now, almost as tall
Yeah.
as me. But it's gonna be a really weird kind of feeling. But I think once we get more into it, and if I do end up
Yeah.
pursuing this remaster, which actually the idea was given me by Lonely Spider, who's been a really big help with coming up with story ideas and stuff, and stuff. And but yeah, if I can just make it fall more in line, that would be cool. I think.
Yeah. Like that was kind of my initial vision for like Dawn of a Hero, like, I mean, like, the new version, like, initially I announced it as, like, the director's cut, because, like, the idea is I was just going to make a remaster and, like, adding a few bits in there. But the challenge was that, like, I couldn't add anything where, like, we showed our faces.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, that's too much. It's, like,
right.
That's like 4 years ago, or like 5 years ago, 6 now, technically.
Yes.
But it's, like, 6 years, if it was like the difference was like 30 to 36 years old, okay, the difference is negligible.
True.
But from like 11 to like what we are now, it's like just, I mean, 12 to like 18 basically. Yeah. That's like a completely like different thing.
That's why
it's
for the responsibility.
So
yeah, true.
Yeah, so basically it was like that was like fairly complicated. And so initially we're trying to plan around this, but okay, how can we shoot stuff that doesn't show our faces but still adds the stuff we want to add?
Yeah.
And eventually, like I just sat down with like some of like my collaborators, and I was just like, all right, basically we can either go this direction or we just like do a remake, basically, like
right.
we just do a new version of this where we will be completely unchained and we're free to do the story we want to tell.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, that's the right way forward.
That's the right way to do it.
And I was like, no,
Definitely.
I just needed someone to like confirm that, because I was so like not sure if like I really wanted to do that, but like they were like, yeah, like we should do that, and I was like, I agree.
Cool.
So I was like,
yeah, that's a good idea for sure. Mine's the way that and Eric, there's two different Erics. There's Eric, my Eric, and there's Lonely Spider Eric. Lonely Spider Eric pitched an idea where it's similar to Another World, kind of, where it's like unbroken or it's like broken storytelling, kind of like not broken. What's the word? Not fragmented. Like non-linear. Yeah, that's the one. Not doing like a non-linear story like thing with it, where there is stuff about like where there's like Best of Enemies Age Me, and it's kind of like
there's like stuff that isn't revealed until later.
Yeah,
that happened.
It's kind of like
that wasn't shown.
Right, like there's stuff in there that bridges the gap, and it's like it's told with flashbacks and stuff. And those flashbacks is the stuff that happened in Responsibility.
Yeah,
that's kind of how
I guess you're gonna have to fit in that old hoodie then.
Yeah, well, because the stuff that I would film now would take place before Best of Enemies, but not during Responsibility, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But it's like if you're trying to bridge the gap between those two, like that'd be
true. Yeah, but it's challenge. Like literally we came up with the idea a week ago, so it sounds really stupid right now. But if I come into something cool, like it could be good.
I mean, like saying like we're gonna do a non-linear thing. It's like that can be cool, that cannot be. It's just a type of storytelling.
Exactly.
It's not really saying.
I'd have to work out the kinks. I'd have to figure out a script. I don't even have. I haven't really thought about it too much because I'm just so focused on doing Best of Enemies right now.
I mean, ultimately, the question is, does the story benefit from telling it that way?
Exactly.
Is ultimately what it comes down
that's what
to.
I got to figure out, because like I mean, I might not even do anything with it. It might just be Responsibility, then Best of Enemies, no remaster. Yeah. I just got to.
Like
I haven't figured out what.
If the experience is detrimental by doing it that way, then it's like not worth it. Because in Another World, I think like it helped. Like, I mean, on a first viewing, it's a little like, hold on, what? Yeah. But when like on second and third viewing, it's like, all right, I get it now. Right. Because it's sort of like, hey, Peter's hands aren't exactly clean either. Yeah. He did this kind of shit. Right. And it's kind of like it reframes your whole like perspective on the story. Yeah. So it's the kind of thing where that really helped. I think if you'd shown it earlier, I don't think it would have been bad or like particularly worse. Yeah. But I think it's sort of like it like adds a certain element of like, oh right,
it's like good point.
Bit, like,
good point. Yeah, I just have to figure out the kinks, see if it is actually a thing that makes sense and stuff. Pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see though.
That's true.
I'll keep you updated.
Yeah. I'll keep you updated on my project too. Like,
dude.
Yeah, I got some stuff I'll tell you off air. That's kind of fun. I just like I'm gonna save it for like a proper video where I get into more details about it.
Right. I've just kind of stopped
some of it
videos.
Like, some of it like takes some explanation. Okay. I'd rather do it in a nice like have a nice graph and like properly.
Sure.
Explain what's going on.
That works.
Yeah, but I'll tell you off air.
Cool.
But what I will say is that, like one of the big things I've been working on over the last month is, first of all, I've been writing a lot and sharing scripts and really getting that like as good as it can be, because this is the foundation for this series. It has to be good. Like I mean, it has to be more than good. It has to be great. I mean, whether or not it will be, we'll have to wait and see. But it has to be at least as good as it can be, because it's like, you know, a faulty foundation, if that sucks, like, you fucked.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like you gotta like get the beginning
exactly
right. So that's a bit
which is
complicated.
That's been tough for me too, which is like
Yeah.
I spend like not so little, but I used to spend so little time in pre-production, and now I still like not all the time spend, like this time for Best of Enemies I spent a really good amount of time, and like a time for it to work thanks to COVID actually. So that's the only time I'll ever say that. But it's just, like, I never liked the pre-production process. I don't know. It's just always I've always loved filming the actual stuff. It's just like
same.
I'm okay at writing. It's just it's never been my strong suit. Like, I'm a good writer. At least I'm an okay writer. It's just, I don't know. I'd rather be filming it than writing it.
No, I agree. Like, for me, my favorite part of the process is editing.
Yeah. Oh, me too. That is my favorite.
Because it's just like, to me, it's like, because filming is stressful and arduous, and it's like it's exhausting.
I'm starting to see that.
Editing can be exhausting. What?
I'm starting to see that a little bit.
Yeah.
Scheduling is the fucking most exhausting and worst part about all of it.
Definitely. I think like now my schedule is much better than it used to be, and I have a lot more time to do it, and more excuse to do it too. Cause, like,
mine's the exact opposite. I didn't do shit when I was like 17, 16.
Yeah.
Now I have like not a full-time job, but I have like a job where I work almost every day of the week, and school, and I have a girlfriend that I spend a lot of time with. But I still I'm still gonna manage to get this out before in a shorter amount of time that I got out Retribution.
Yeah.
I don't know what I didn't have an excuse back then.
Yeah,
but I'm making it work as best I can now.
Yeah, I mean, my schedule like was pretty fucked. Like in like high school and middle school. High school it got worse. Like, I got better at organizing stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of compensated for it.
Right.
But my schedule was tough. I mean, the high school I went to was like a private school thing.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like really like it takes up all of your time. I did in high school I did the international baccalaureate, which was like, God, it's like it's like if like people have talked about it all over the world. It's just like every student agrees it's an absolute nightmare.
Really?
Like,
I've never heard of it before.
But it's not as like widespread in the US, but like across basically everywhere else is pretty like common.
Makes sense.
Common, I don't know, but it's known anyway. It's an option that exists.
We're the black sheep of the thing.
That was an attempt, but yeah, like, so anyway, I did that, and so basically my schedule was really tight. So we basically only got like 1 day a week, if that, to film.
I wish I could have 1 day a week to film. What the fuck?
But like, you gotta understand, like the projects that we were working on were like quite large in size, so that like really didn't amount to much. And at the end of the day, like 1 a week was if we were lucky, because as high school went on, we had less and less time, and so by the end of it, it was like 1 like every 3 weeks or something. It was just like, and for the size of the project, that's like not very much. But now the schedule is like way better, and because like we're like literally in film school, we basically just have an excuse to go out and film stuff.
Well, that is good for you. Not passive aggressive at all.
Yeah, for you it's not like that easy.
It's tougher. I mean, it's everybody has.
I'm also unemployed, so I guess that does help.
A lot of the people that I work with on the film stuff, they all have like their jobs and stuff, and then school. It's just really hard to get them together. Especially Peter, which we need him for a lot of scenes, but he works so much. I can only use like free one day of the week, and it's normally Fridays. So normally, if I'm lucky, I'll get. It's for the past multiple times that I filmed, like the most recent times that I filmed, it's been like there's a 4 week break, and then we find a week where we're able to film like back to back double days, and then there's another long break, and then back to back again, right. Or like Thursday, and then like the next Saturday or something, or that Saturday.
That is a very, I think
it's tough.
I feel like that's kind of an American thing, like the sort of getting a job like during high school or right out of high school. It's like that's not a thing we really do in Europe. Like just getting a job, especially not in high school. Like that never happens. Nobody has a job in high school.
Wow, that's interesting.
Ever. And getting a job right out of high school, unless you don't go to college, is rare.
Yeah.
like it's typically.
I mean, these jobs that
a job
aren't really our careers.
Once you get out of college,
you know, like these jobs aren't our careers. It's just stuff.
Oh no, certainly.
Yeah.
But even any type of job is rare for like.
Okay, gotcha. Because I'm not working at this grocery store that I'm working at for the rest of my life. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, it's not as common here, so it's
okay. That's interesting. I've never known that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Like I always thought it was like weird. I was like, you people have a job in high school? What the fuck? That's
I had my job. I got my first job when I was 17. Like, and it's the same store that I work at now.
God, yeah, I would have been absolutely useless.
That's interesting.
Getting a job in high school, like what the hell would I have done then?
Oh no.
Gosh. Yeah.
Cool.
But anyway, yeah, it's like I don't know where we were at, but we started talking about
jobs
schedules.
And stuff. I don't even know. I was about but we're talking about schedules and stuff, just in general.
Well, we were talking about like the pre-production process and whatnot, and like I really enjoy editing. That's why I was at before. I love editing because editing is like filming is really arduous. Like pre-production sometimes can feel, at least for me, interminable. Like it feels like it never ends.
Yeah.
It's just like this log string, and because there's little that comes out of it, it feels kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Right.
But editing, like everything's done, and you're just putting together this thing, and it's like all the puzzle pieces are coming together. True. It's a very satisfying process.
I agree.
It's very satisfying.
I think that's the part that I'm strongest at, too.
Yeah.
With editing and stuff, and I fucking love. If I'm gonna go into film, like if the directing thing doesn't work out, I would love to get into editing or sound design because I love doing sound design. Yeah, same. I love doing.
Well, I mean, like, sound design I'm not as good at, but editing is definitely something I would like to get into. I mean, I do editing, like
right.
I do like small gigs and stuff occasionally.
Yeah, no, I've been helping some fan film people out, like just especially with Lone by Spider's new web series, or what's actually not a web series anymore, it's turned movies and stuff. I've been helping them out with editing. Like we're helping each other out with our weaker like points in
the stuff that each of us is like weaker
exactly
yeah.
Like I'm not the best with pre-production or writing or coming up with ideas. That's when I am like, hey, do you maybe have something like, do you have an idea for this? Or like, what do you think would be cool? And we kind of like discuss that, and he like throws out some stuff, and it actually helps me a lot. With his stuff, no offense to him or anything at all, because like I still think his movies are really cool and stuff. But it's just he's told me that he's like struggled and stuff with like post production and stuff and editing, and that's my strong suit. So we help each other with the stuff that we're not good at and stuff.
Yeah. I think recently, especially with this project, with this remake of Dawn, like I've gained a new appreciation for pre-production. Maybe it's just this project. I don't know. Maybe it's just like luck or whatever. But this one, I'm really enjoying it. Like it coming together.
That's cool.
I think a large part because I have a lot more access to things now than I did before. So I feel like I have a lot more freedom to do what I actually want to do. I feel a lot less restricted.
That's cool.
Obviously, I'm still understanding my limits.
That's a good feeling.
And that, yeah. Obviously, I'm understanding my limits and what I can and cannot do, but like, there are a lot of things I couldn't do before that I can do now.
Right.
And it's very satisfying to
Cars
be able
help.
to do.
Being able to drive, that fucking helps. That's why we have cool locations now, because we can actually drive out there.
Yeah.
That's why.
But it's like
everything was filmed basically in my backyard for my past 2 movies.
Yeah. I mean now my at film school they have like you can rent out like a bunch of like like equipment basically.
Yeah,
they
same.
have a whole like thing.
Same.
Like that's great, and that's really handy to have.
Definitely, yeah.
So it's like good stuff. Anyway, it's like so.
For my equipment, I just blow all my paychecks. That's why I have such good stuff, because I take a week's paycheck that's like $250, and I buy like a whole light with it and stuff. Because I don't need it for really anything else right now. I need gas, and sometimes I get fast food. So I'm just like, I'm just going to buy a bunch of film equipment.
I mean, you don't have to pay rent, so I mean, that's kind of the main thing that's why you can afford to do
that. But I need to stop. That's the thing. I have 3 of the same exact suits for Spider-Man for this. I
mean, for like battle damage and stuff, I would.
That was the original thought, because I don't know if I want to say this because I don't know if it's still going to happen. But right now, as of now, the suit was going to get completely torn to shreds and burned in the end of the 3rd movie and stuff. The one after this one that we're doing right now. So that was the original one that I got. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to get another one for that. just so I could have that, because I love that suit. I want to still have that suit and stuff.
Yeah,
but
you don't want to rip the original.
Exactly. But then I was like, having the detached mask and then having the suit and then having the mask in there, it looks like you have an abscess in your neck, like it's all like wrinkled up and stuff.
Yeah.
And I hate how that looks. So I wanted to get a suit that had the mask attached and stuff.
Yeah.
And if I had known that I was gonna do that, and if I had known that I wasn't actually gonna burn the original suit, I would have only because I would have only needed the original suit, which has the mask attached, and then one other one, which is the mask attached. Did I say detached? And then
whatever, like one that has it attached and one that doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah. So now I have 3 that I don't need. I might do I might.
Yeah, what did one of those run you? Like 100 or something, or like probably
about 100 actually. Yeah. The first one I got.
Yeah.
You know
what it costs.
Yeah.
It's about what it costs in euro. Like
Right.
if you include shipping and everything.
Yeah.
To get like a proper good one with like a patent and everything.
Right.
That's like a good like 90.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember Ball Eagle Productions, who was Fireball Studio 7 at one point? I do. You guys were like acquaintances. At least.
Yeah, we were friends. So we used to talk a bit, and then he stopped doing anything. So
yeah, right. we still talk a lot though. He's been a good buddy of mine. But he wasn't, when he realized he wasn't going to do a Spider-Man fan film. He gave me his suit because he didn't like it. He was like, he always hated the colors on it because it was different in the picture than what it actually was. He's like, oh dude, I hate the colors on this. Do you just want it? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll take a free suit.
Oh, yeah. It's a different one than the one you have.
God, I love this new suit. I don't like the Insomniac suit that I had. There's a whole story behind why I got that suit.
Because it was like I guess trendy. Really, it was just kind of like
no, literally. Well, yeah, that and literally because when I saw the original 2016 announcement trailer for that game, I was like, okay, if that suit ever comes to like any suit websites, that's the one I'm getting for the next movie. But then after that, after John gave me his suit, since I decided, hey, I might as well buy another one to have for a battle damaged. So basically it's 2 suits for the price of one. I pretty much only paid for 1 suit. But then I paid for 2.
So like he gave you a suit and then you used that one and like got another one of that.
Pretty much, yeah. The original one was going to be for battle damaged, and then the new one was going to be just the one that I would have because I would want to have. I still like that suit and I want to keep it, but now I have 3. Yeah. I'm probably going to end up, when these movies are all over, or at least when the 3rd movie's done, I'm going to do. I'm going to maybe do a giveaway for it. We'll see. That'll be cool.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Like an auction.
Like
sell them off.
I don't know if I want to sell it. I don't know if like I'm really in a tight spot with money, I would probably try and do at least a little bit of crowdfunding, and I'd have like a higher tier be, if you like paid this tier or whatever, you'd get the original suit from this thing. I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
We'll see if I end up doing that or not.
Yeah, but the thing that like, speaking of suits and whatever, is that like one of the things that has really, I thought was quite exciting during this creative process for this remake of Dawn is that one of my main things is I want to craft a very distinct vision for like what the Variant Pictures version of Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that is the suit. Because
are you still using the same one as the Fall of a Hero?
No,
because I was actually gonna get, that was the suit that I considered for a long time to get.
It's a really good one. It's like I really like that suit, but we're not gonna reuse that one because we're gonna get an original design.
That's a good idea.
So that's what we're doing.
That's a very good idea.
I'm not much of an artist, so what I did is I like drew up like a sketch. Then I sent it over to like a friend of mine who like does like drawing and is like actually proper good at it.
Is it still recording? Because I don't see the recording icon anymore.
I see it.
Okay, cool. Okay, phew.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the audio is still recording, then at least we always have that.
True.
So it's always a backup.
Cool.
But basically I sent over to. It's like, oh shit. But then like I sent it to him and he is currently working on like designing like a proper like turnaround, like the front, the side and the back. Whatever.
Oh, cool.
So making it actually look good, and then I'm gonna send that over to like somebody to make a pattern.
Yeah.
And then
that's a cool idea. It's a cool idea.
It's fairly self-explanatory.
Do you want to see a pattern that I'm gonna use?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just gonna show it. Guys, you want to see? You want to see the new suit that I'm gonna use for the or this is not confirmed yet, but this is the suit design that I really want to use for a future movie.
Yes, I was thinking of that at one point too, and then I just decided I was just gonna go original.
Love this.
I really do.
Like I already have a classic suit. So if I were to do a different suit, because like I said, I'm not sure if I will. I might stick with this suit for the rest of the series because it's perfect classic. Everyone seems to like it. But if I were to do another suit, then it would be that one for sure because that one's sick.
Really good. I was considering that at one point, and I was like, I thought I was just go the extra mile. Yeah. And really do something properly original.
Right, that's a good idea.
And we're gonna have an original design for the spider as well.
That's awesome.
Like a proper original thing for that.
Yeah. So that's exciting.
It's just about like thinking. It's like when people think of what the VariantPictures Spider-Man is, if anyone ever thinks about it. But it's like if someone were to think about it, there would be like at least a suit and also like a logo, because if you think about the live action Spider-Man, in many ways they are defined by the logo. Yeah. That's the one thing that stays consistent.
True. That's not the case for my thing.
Yeah. It's like the Raimi logo is consistent pretty much. I mean, slightly different in the movies, but like it's basically the same thing.
Right.
The Amazing Spider-Man series, the first and second one, I mean, the suits are completely different.
But always have like the really long pointy legs with it. That's always...
I mean, the logo is slightly different from the first and second one. Like the first one's like split up into like chunks and it's like whatever. And the second one is like a unified logo, but it's still recognizably the same thing.
I think that's I figured out
daddy long legs.
Yeah, true. I just figured out what my distinguishing factor would be for my suits if I were to do it. It would always be Ultimate Spider-Man lenses.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one too.
Because I fucking love Ultimate Spider-Man suit design. Mark Bagley is my favorite comic book artist. I love his work on Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah. And I just really wanted to have an Ultimate Spider-Man looking suit for these movies.
Yeah, I'm a very classic person. I love my favorite artist with Spider-Man is John Romita Sr.
Oh yeah, his stuff's great too.
It's not a particularly inspiring choice in terms of original.
Neither's Mark Bagley either, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but because to me his design is just that's what I think of when I think comic book Spidey.
Yeah.
Which is
that's understandable for sure.
It's Steve Ditko is obviously iconic, but I think John Romita Sr. took what Steve Ditko did and took it from its roots and then made it into iconic territory.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there, honestly.
That's the way I view it, and so that's a big
hot
thing
take
for me.
Though. I do not like John Romita Jr.'s art. Not even a little bit.
I don't love it. Not either. It's not bad. I've grown to appreciate. I mean, there's some in its own way.
There's some stuff I think he's definitely improved. It's just I don't. Yeah. There's the one I guys can't shake this one picture. It's this Spider-Man in my head where he's standing like this. If you know the picture I'm talking about.
He's very square chested.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like. Yeah. I've never been I like proportion stuff. I like more realistic-ish looking art, kind of. Yeah. With a different, maybe a cartoony or a comic booky kind of flair. But if it looks really exaggerated proportions, then I'm not a huge fan of it.
I mean, artists like Paulo Rivera or Alex Ross, that kind of style. That's also really good. But that's art. That's paintings. That's
exactly. Yeah. The ones
in terms of comic book art, I think Romita Sr. But I will say for Romita Jr., I do it's kind of weird, but I do like the way he draws faces and his human faces. Yeah. I like those. It's very it reminds me of kind of Frank Miller a little bit. Yeah. The way he draws faces.
Whatever on the new Nick Spencer run, whoever's been mostly doing the art for that is pretty good too. I like how it looks in the first few issues for sure. I don't remember the name.
I like it too. It's very angular in terms of design. Yeah. It's not very rounded at all.
Exactly.
But I do think it works stylistically.
For sure. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I think so. Yeah, but for me, the lenses we've had a conversation about this before, but I really like small squinty lenses. Yeah. I really like that because it kind of, I think. Spider-Man is a really interesting character for many reasons, but in this case, one of the things that I find interesting is in terms of tone, he's a very malleable character. You can have a story like Spider-Man Blue, which is really sweet and heartfelt and wholesome and nice, right? And then you can have shit like Kraven's Lost Hunt, right? Which is grimy, depressing, and kind of poetic in many ways. Yeah, and it's just crazy how those two things both are incredible and I think are the best Spider-Man comics of all time, like those two.
Okay.
And like those, and yet they are entirely different in every way.
That's why I like.
And yet they are both Spider-Man and they are both incredible.
Right.
And I think it's
that's
just
true.
Like,
that's why you don't really change, like, you don't make Spider-Man edgy. You make the stories edgy, but Yeah,
you make the world around him different. And he stays, if not the same, at least.
Well, right. He's he's obviously got to learn throughout the story and stuff. Like, you got to have his arcs and whatnot. And grow as a character, but Yeah.
I just I love how that character can be so like
versatile,
malleable,
pretty much malleable person. Yeah,
it's just like really nice
if it's done right.
And one of the things that I like is whenever Spider-Man is depicted as being kind of creepy. Not like he's a creep, but I mean like in terms of he's like kind of
how he's drawn,
the Spider-Man,
like the Steve Ditko stuff.
There's kind of that, but also it's like how like making Spider-Man kind of scary almost.
Yeah.
Right, like he's crawling in the dark and it's like,
that
kind of stuff.
And, because I know you're talking about Steve Ditko originally, since, he did horror comics a lot. When he drew Spider-Man, he made, like, his poses and stuff, and he was, like, very, like, lit in the shadows sometimes, especially in his first issue, in, like, the first ever Spider-Man issue.
Yeah, the first one.
Amazing Fantasy, yeah. It was, Spider-Man, like, looked scary and stuff. Like,
yeah, I have it right here.
Do you really? Look at that. I have it in my basement somewhere. I have to find it.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of fun how they draw that
for sure.
Yeah, it's like this stuff here.
Like there's one where he's like where he's that one, the one right there.
Yeah,
where he's like actually kind of like he looks like the villain almost. It's weird. Like I don't know if he just looks intimidating. I guess he doesn't look like the villain, or he kind of I don't know. It's just a weird thing, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it definitely is, and like and I just think that the element of Spider-Man being kind of scary, not in like a Batman type way, but where like he gives people hope, but also like criminals do kind of shit their pants a little bit.
If
like
you actually
kind of like, oh shit, like like Spider-Man has the ability to scare them. Like one of my favorite things, I'll get to you like 2 seconds, but is that one thing I love in Spider-Man comics is it doesn't happen particularly often, but it's when Spider-Man like pretends that he has powers he doesn't to scare people.
Really?
He's like like this one bit where he's like the criminal thinks that Spider-Man has the ability to call an army of spiders.
I know exactly the spiders. They're coming. Dude, I was gonna do something like that.
And Spider-Man's just like, yes, that is definitely a power I have. So you better fucking give me the information.
That's hilarious.
Like I just love when Spider-Man plays into the kind of creepy factor of it. Yeah. And I love when stories play into that. And Kraven's Lost Hunt has that in spades, like Spider-Man being kind of creepy. Like the scary element of the Spider-Man. It's like that.
Right. Kind of it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. And so definitely. Like I want to have like really like sort of squinty eyes.
That's cool.
I guess kind of like this. I mean, like on the cover, it's got kind of squinty eyes going on.
For sure.
I guess mine would be a little bit squintier than that.
I don't know. It's almost a hot take for me. Not a lot of people like the bigger 90s-ish lenses, but I fucking love those. I don't know why.
Oh, no, I like them.
Maybe it's just aesthetically. I don't know.
It's just a personal preference thing, I think.
Maybe because I can see out of them better.
That is definitely true. Like, small lenses are a pain. You can't see shit.
Because I did do the Ditko-y Insomniac lenses and stuff for a while. Those were very fun to wear.
The
but I don't know.
Insomniac lenses are pretty big. But the Ditko ones are like fairly small.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But I just love the look of it. I mean, it's a personal taste thing. Mm-hmm. It's very subjective.
Honestly,
but
we're really gonna play that up in a future movie. Just so you know, that's what I was trying to say earlier. What? Play that up with
the
Spider-Man
aspect.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Especially with the suit that I have, if I light it in the right way, how my lenses like angle up like that, kinda.
Yeah, they're slightly like symbiote kind of.
Sorta, a little bit, yeah. Kinda.
I mean, the symbiote ones don't have the black rim around
exactly.
it. But, like,
it sucks.
do have that kind of, like, demonic almost.
Exactly. It sucks how similar... Because I originally had a different Scarlet Spider face shell that had smaller Scarlet Spider lenses, but the face shell was shit. The magnets kept breaking. It just looked, like, terrible. I got it from Zentai Zone. But then I got... Dude, if you're going to get a face shell, get it from Oracle Made, just so you know.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to get.
Good. That's where this one came from. It looks so good. But I had already gotten these lenses, and they look like Ultimate Spider-Man ones for my Spider-Man. But I had to get good Scarlet Spider lenses too, because I wanted the Scarlet Spider costume to look cool since I fucked up on the Scarlet Spider costume in Retribution.
Yeah.
It just sucks how similar they look. Like you look at them right next to each other, it's like basically the same shape. Which is, I don't know. When you see Spider-Man and Scarlet Spider next to each other, I just hope they don't look too similar and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like the suits are quite distinct.
That's not what I mean. Like the masks, it's just like distracting that the mask looks so similar. The suits obviously don't look. But yeah, no, we nailed the Scarlet Spider suit this time, and I don't know why I didn't do it before.
The little I've seen of it looks really good.
It's just
it's very accurate.
For sure.
I mean, it's literally just the Scarlet Spider. It's not particularly
sadly without
different.
without the belt, without the ankle things. We've got web shooters though, cool ass web shooters.
Yeah.
But
does he have like the? He doesn't have the ankle things, does he?
No, no. Which, because like, dude, I try to find some, and like the only ones that look good are like $200 for a belt and web shooters and ankle cuffs.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? It's like $200 for the belt. It's like a $600 set.
Yeah.
Or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I just got cool looking web shooters, and that should be enough. Yeah. I made the design a little bit my own too. A little bit, kinda, with the black web shooters, because you normally have silver web shooters. I made the web shooters black, and I had the gloves have some black in it and they're fingerless. So I kind of, it's kind of like a Buckeye Studios version of Scarlet Spider a little bit, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's got a few little distinct features to
exactly,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it still is
to me, it's
Scarlet
like,
Spider.
Yeah. I just think, like, if someone thinks about, like, Joey Lever's version of Spider-Man, they're not going to think about the suit he wears in Lost Cause.
Bro, Insomniac ripped him off, just saying. Insomniac took that idea from him, I swear.
But in Lost Cause, he just has the amazing Spider-Man suit, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, like that's not what people are going to remember. What they're going to remember is the suit from Another World.
Facts.
Like, that's what people are going to remember. Because that's super, like, I would call that, in terms of fan film community stuff, I would call that design iconic.
Yeah, I agree.
Really great.
I agree for sure.
Like, it's really solid. I've seen like his, because I've talked to him, and like I've seen his suit design for the third film.
You've seen it.
Like,
is it cool?
Yeah, it's really cool. So it's
that's crazy.
Really sick.
That's crazy.
But
wait, he's not keeping that same suit though. That just hit me. That just hit me like a train. He's not keeping the Another World suit.
It hit me too.
But, man, that's. You just said it's iconic, and I agree with you, and I was going to change it.
But there's going to be a similar thing where, you know how at the beginning of Another World, you see the suit from Lost Cause at the beginning?
Yeah, right.
Like, the suit will be, like, there as well.
Right.
That's what I understand.
Cool. Interesting, though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for his thing.
Like, that's... What?
I'm excited for his whatever he's got going, whatever he's got planning. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for it, too. Like, I've seen the title and everything. It's pretty, like...
Have you? That's crazy.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Cool, man. Cool.
But yeah, the point is, like, I really wanted an original design, and the design is going to change as the series goes on.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to evolve and whatever. And one thing, too, is as the film goes on, his suit is going to get damaged, like, over time, like, as it would.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've always wanted to see in a Spider-Man adaptation that I've never seen, and so, like, I was like, well, I've never seen it, so I'll just do it myself, is that, like, I always figured, like, okay, his suit gets damaged over time, and we, in the comics and in, like, animated shows and whatever, we see him repair the suit, right? In movies, he just gets a new one. Like, we don't see him repair it, he just has a new one. Like, whatever, he made it off screen, no big deal.
Yeah.
But, like, in I've seen, like, there are moments where you see him, like, trying to sew the suit together in the comics, or, like, in animated shows, I've seen that a bunch. But the suit looks exactly like it did before, right? And what I've always thought is, like, well, in real life, I mean, not to be like, well, technically in real life it wouldn't happen like that. Like, I'm not obsessed with it being realistic. But it's like, in real life, if that happens, like, the suit would have stitches and, like, patches, and it would look like...
That's cool.
You know,
the only time I've ever seen that is with Eclipse, honestly.
Yeah.
They had a similar kind of thing.
It's got, like, a bandage around.
Yeah.
It's like, you know...
Exactly.
And, like, what I want to get at as the film goes on, as time goes on, because it's over a few, like, months of time, like, the suit progressively gets more and more patched and, like, whatever.
Okay.
And eventually it gets to the point where it's like he just has to get a new one. I mean, there's more to it than that. He's not going to get a new suit just because there's going to be a bit more to it.
Yeah.
But the point is that by the time he does get a new one, the old one is so damaged that it's like two birds, one stone.
That's kind of like Daredevil Season 1 with the Vigilante suit. That's kind of
like
the vibes that
just
gives me,
gets
which
kinda
is cool.
fucked over time.
Yeah, his like shirt, like his black shirt and everything is like torn to shreds by the end of it, kind of at least. A little bit.
It gets a little damaged and he has to patch it up and
Yeah.
But that's something I've always
You just like see the
It's
bandages under his suit and stuff that he's which is
you just see like the suit get patched up and you can see that it's a suit that has been through battle over
That's cool.
an amount of time.
That's a cool.
So
I've never thought of that before.
Well.
I guess no one else has before too, which is surprising because that's a really that's a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's the two main things is like in terms of suit stuff is that it's gonna be an original design, which I'll show you afterwards.
Bet.
I'll show you what I've got for that.
I want to show you my new fight scene. That's my favorite scene that I've ever filmed. I'll send that to you, I think.
Yeah. And it's gonna like get patched and damaged and whatever over time.
Cool. That's awesome.
So it's gonna be like that. That's another thing. Yeah. So like, is there any other stuff you want to talk about in terms of your movies coming up?
I'm trying to think. Are we getting close to wrapping it up? Because this is actually good because I have to start homework soon. Anything else? I don't know. I can't really think of too much off the top of my head. Do you have any questions about my movie at all? About like what's going on with it, or the plans, or what you think about it, or anything?
I'm thinking of questions that you would probably like want to answer on the podcast, like like, you know, in terms of public stuff, like
but stuff that is public,
like
that could be public, that I wouldn't.
Yeah, like stuff that I'm not gonna ask questions. It's like super spoilers or whatever. It's like, you know, but like I guess one question is like I think that people might be interested in is like, you know, it's gonna come out in 2021 probably. Do you have some sort of time frame for what you're aiming for release wise? Yeah,
I've been saying for a little bit. I haven't said it in any videos because I don't want to make people think that it's actually going to. Because it might not.
What are you trying to go for? What is your
really
goal?
going for February 2021. Yeah. I'm going for the exact same date as Retribution. Since it's a Retribution, it's a Retribution remake. We get it out in February. I think it was 18th.
Plus 2021 is 5 years since 2016.
Yeah, 5 years since. It's gonna be 5 years since Responsibility soon. That's crazy.
So 5 years to the day. So that would work out pretty well.
That's crazy. No, yeah. It would be 3 years exactly to the day of Retribution. Because Responsibility came out September 23rd, 2016, and then Retribution came out 2018, like February. I think it was 18th. I'm pretty sure it was 18th.
Right. That's like 3 years.
Yeah, it would be cool if I could do that. Since it's a Retribution remake, just really like be like, hey, it's a cool thing.
It's like, you know, we're redoing this. It's like, you know, we're kind of paving over the thing. Yeah.
True.
I guess thinking of what else.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. For how do you
if you want to ask me questions, like you can do that too.
Oh, were you gonna think maybe we do mine first and then yours next, I guess.
Sure. All right. I mean, it's just like if like we can't think of a question, it's like we just swap or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that works.
I guess like so then like you said this was like set like a year after the last one, or
around a year.
Like, or you think like I guess I'm just curious, like, does it have to be a year? Is there like a reason that it's
no? It's just I'm basically there's not really a reason
that long, but is there a reason that it couldn't be longer to justify?
It could be longer, it could be shorter. I'm just right now I'm saying like I don't think it's very important to the story it is, but like it's never really brought up too much. Like, oh, you haven't been Spider-Man for this amount of time, like blah blah blah. It's just like it's important. It's important that he hasn't, and the story is about him coming back and learning what it's like to be a true hero.
So he's coming back then. He's like he stopped being Spider-Man for a while.
No, I didn't say anything. Well, I mean, we're doing multiple Spider-Man movies, and it's a remake of Retribution, so you can assume that yes, he's probably gonna come back in it.
No, it's like in Best of Enemies, like he had stopped being Spider-Man, or is like
no. In Responsibility,
he had kept being Spider-Man for
in Responsibility he had quit. This is like a story because Retribution
after Responsibility he quit.
Yeah, do you remember that? Because like right at the end of Responsibility he quit. I quit being Spider-Man.
I'm afraid I didn't remember that. No.
Okay, yeah. No, that was
I should have done my homework.
It's
before
fine.
Bringing you in.
It's all right. No worries. Yeah, I had stopped. I had quit being
sense.
Spider-Man right at the end, and this next movie is about like me learning what it's like to be a true hero, and like you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really much of a spoiler since that's probably like the film's going to open with that. Like when the film opens,
close, like kinda. It's not really a spoil. Like that's my arc throughout the movie and stuff.
But like, if he'd quit being Spider-Man, the film would be like about him kind of coming back in a sense.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's like when you start the film, that's already kind of there. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Like the fact he's quit is consistent.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you were asking something different.
Yeah, it's like the fact he's quit, since it's a sequel, that's not a spoiler because that's what the last film ended
right,
on.
For sure.
And the fact that he comes back as Spider-Man, I mean, it's a Spider-Man movie. It's like he's not going to not come back.
And I've already talked about how I want to do other movies after this, so it's pretty... Yeah. And I've showed Spider-Man doing Spider-Man stuff in the teaser trailer's out. There's me fighting Harry. There's me with
it wouldn't be much of a Spider-Man movie
suit.
if he never became Spider-Man.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So like, I think it's some stuff where it's like technically it's a reveal that he becomes Spider-Man again. Like it's not a twist, but like
exactly, yeah.
But
there are some sick twists though.
It's gonna happen. It's not like
right. Exactly. It's not like a big surprise.
It's like whenever you bring Gwen into a Spider-Man's thing, she's gonna die. It doesn't matter. Like it's inevitable.
We're having Gwen as the girlfriend character in these movies, and my mission is to not make her die. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Like this is not a spoiler. It's not happening. I promise.
It's not happening. Pulling now you've become Ryan Johnson. You're subverting our expectations here.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's crazy.
But I have a question for you. How so you've never like the longest movie you've done was about 30 minutes, right?
It's like 42.
42. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. How a full feature length thing is a daunting thing to take on, coming off of just doing short films and stuff. How do you think that's like? What's your process? Not your process, but like, how do you think that you're gonna jump from that to doing something like this and making it work? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. I think it's the kind of thing where eventually you just kind of have to do it. I mean, it's like if you've never done a feature length thing before, it's like eventually you're gonna have to. Yeah. So it's like you got to start somewhere.
True. Good point.
And starting at the beginning, I guess, is kind of appropriate.
Yeah, that's facts.
But I think it's like the last one was 42 minutes, and it's like,
damn it, you got me by a minute with Retribution. Go ahead though.
But the funny thing about like my scripts is something I've noticed, and maybe this will evolve over time, is that they are like, because do you know about like the rule of thumb for like how long a script is versus how long the film will be?
Yeah, it's normally a page is a minute normally.
Right.
On average.
Well, yeah. Well, the sort of revised version of that I've heard is like, it's not so much that every single page equals 1 minute, right, more or less. It's more that you can take the number of pages and that will roughly equate to the number of minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like some pages will be longer than 1 minute, some will be shorter. Right. It kind of evens out in the end.
It does, yeah.
The scripts I've written end up being not quite double, but almost. Okay. Like it from one to the other.
Gotcha.
Like the script for Fall of a Hero, like that one was 20 to 25 pages. I think I can't remember if it was 20 or 25.
Gotcha.
And it ended up being 40, like almost 45.
That's interesting. So
it's almost double.
Okay.
Right. So like that's what I mean. It's like like my scripts are like that. Gotham Pizza was the same thing. Gotham Pizza was 10 pages long, ended up being 18.
Right.
Right, so it's close to double. So that's the thing I've noticed as well. And so like based on where the script is at now, like currently, like obviously we're a bit further, like I've written more than this. Obviously because I just thoroughly like plan out everything. Mm-hmm. So basically I'm at the stage right now where I'm just typing up the script basically. Right. Like everything's already there. I just need to actually put it in a script format.
Yeah, you've done like outlines pretty much.
Yeah, I've done like super detailed outlines. It's like so many pages.
That's cool.
And now I just have to actually type it up. And right now I'm at like, at least when we're recording this, because I know exactly when this is going to come out, but when I'm recording this, I'm about like, I'd say a third into the film.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's like, I think it's like 35 pages.
Okay, gotcha. Cool,
right, so if the rule of thumb is the same, then that's already like
35 minutes around.
Or
double. My bad. Sorry,
right,
it'd
so
be
it's like
over an hour.
It'd be about an hour already.
55 minutes maybe.
Something like that, like 50 minutes probably.
It's crazy.
It would end up being a 55.
I mean, we'll see if it works out like that. Who knows? Maybe your writing style has evolved over this like year or two. However long it's been. We could see.
But based on, if you take that at least, and even if it is more closer to the rule of thumb, that's still like half an hour.
Yeah.
For like a third of the film. Right. So either way, it's going to end up being feature length.
Exactly.
Whichever way this goes.
Exactly.
So that's the kind of thing. And, to get more to the meat of your question, which was like, isn't it like kind of daunting to go from one to the other? As I said, you just kind of have to go for it. But also the last one was 40 minutes. That's pretty close to feature length as is.
Right.
So to me, it's like, I know what it's like to embark on a project that's fairly long like that. Yeah. And it's like, it's no different than what I've done before. It's just going to take longer. That's
a fair point. That's really a fair point. Difference.
And now I have more time than I did before. So I think, like, what I'm aiming for, I mean, I've already said when the release is, like, pretty much.
Oh, really?
Because, like, when I announced that we were delaying it from this year to next year.
Yeah.
Like, I said it was supposed to come out in fall of this year, and now it's coming out fall of next year.
Okay, cool.
When exactly it's going to be is not, like, super decided. Right now I'm aiming for, like, mid to late October.
Okay.
Probably.
Sounds good.
Somewhere around then.
That'd be fun.
But it's probably going to be between October and December.
Nice.
Like, that's sort of the range. Like, I think if all goes well, then we should be done filming, like, by, like, July, probably.
Cool. Okay.
That's the aim, anyway. So
yeah,
we'll see how that
right.
goes.
We'll see.
Once I start filming, we'll see, like, actually how long it's going to take.
Right, yeah, because, like, you have an idea in your head of how long it could take, but, you like, things start to go wrong, or it takes longer than you think it will, pretty much.
I mean, like, Fall of a Hero took, like, if I remove, like, gaps for, like, summer break or whatever, if I remove that stuff, then basically it took pretty much that length. Like, we started to work on it in, like, I think October of 2018.
Yeah.
And might have been later. No, wait. No, that was for Gotham Pizza. We started that in, like, September. Fall of a Hero. Fall of a Hero started production in May of 2019. And, like, it was supposed to start way earlier, but it got delayed so bad.
Yeah.
But it started in May. Yeah, it does. We started in May of 2019, and we finished in October of that year.
Okay. Gotcha.
And if you remove summer break, that's like, what, May, June, July, September, October. That's like 5 months.
Right. That's not bad. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
I think I've already taken that amount of time.
Like, yeah,
I'm
hoping to start production on this December or January.
Actually, it's only been like 3.5 months for me so far. But yeah, go ahead.
So it's like December might be a bit tight, so it might end up being January.
Okay.
I think because December's going to be taken up in large part by, like, finalizing stuff before we start shooting.
Gotcha.
It's like, getting all the props in and getting locations and actors and whatever. But so I think late December or probably early January we start filming this.
Cool.
And so that gives us till July. That's like, what, 7 months? Or like...
Right. Yeah, that's not bad.
6-7 months.
That's not bad.
So with the time we have now, it's possible. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see how that is.
Cool. Definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to head out soon, cause I
right.
gotta start this essay that's due tonight.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I know, it's one of those nights. This was fun though, dude. Thank you so much for having me on and stuff.
Well, thank you for joining me. It was
a
pleasure.
Man, definitely. If you do any more podcasts in the future and you don't have a guest for that time, hit me up, man. This was really cool. I enjoyed this.
I'll definitely ask you back.
Hell yeah, man. I'm glad. Right. I'm happy to be your first guest.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Guest number 1. Here we go. All
cool.
right. Well, thanks. And
no problem. Sorry that ended so abruptly, guys.
That's all right. It happens. Yeah, all right. I think we've talked long enough.
Probably, yeah.
It's going to be like over 2 hours.
Cool.
All right. Well, and thank everyone for watching this too.
Definitely.
So thank you all for that.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. I won't, but everyone else will, and it stops.
Start tripping, now I'm blue. Mega Man,